don't die. Yes, we multiply. Fat lady sing. Damn. Still love you like that. Nary. You are tuned in to the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Mace Jackson. Sitting in with me is Miss Jasmine Turner, y'all. And you know, I was a little discombobulated in the first break, but we got the whole team. We are up 50,000 feet. The Soul Plane is doing this thing. And I want to tell y'all, last night I was awakened as I actually, first of all, let me send a shout out to everybody at Wilbur Wright College.
Yeah, you spoke there yesterday.
I spoke there yesterday to a group of students. It was pretty cool. Had a very interesting dialogue, actually, and it was predominantly Latinos in the class.
Really?
So it was a very interesting discussion.
Did you talk about what's in it for the black people?
I talked about what's in it for the black people, about black self-interest. I mean, I think it was a tremendous opportunity to have a dialogue. One of the things that I had to literally stop the event though a couple times and be like, it's not black and brown.
No.
Oh yeah, I know. Oh yeah, I'm at that now. I'm at that point. Like when it was like, oh, and it was like we had a Black History Month discussion, and they wanted to be considerate.
They were not trying to talk black and brown.
No, the black people was saying black and brown to not offend. And I was like, hold on, it's Black History Month.
Right.
We ain't got to say black and brown in Black History Month. So, but it was a great dialogue. And it was like people were shocked, but by the end of it, they were kind of like, oh, shout out to Tracy O'Neal Ellis as well, the writer of The Exceptional Negro. We were on that panel together. And then I was on a panel yesterday with Del Marie Cobb at National Louis University. Shout out to Davida Francois, Dr. Davida Francois, and everyone over at National Louis University, because that panel was another one that was off the chain. It was like, boy, but I'm gonna tell you, I felt like my co-panelist was taking shots at me.
What did they say?
I was like, dang, I didn't even go there, but I was just like, you really gonna take shots? It's like,
You feel like they were taking personal shots at you?
yeah, I think that
People of color or minority?
No, they was like, we wasn't having none of that, people of color, none of that. I was like, it's black today. It's Black History Month. Don't tell me no people of color, nothing. No, I think my co-panelist was taking shots. So some people feel like the path to success is to work inside of the system. Some people feel it's different. Anyway, regardless of the shots, it was a great panel. Let me not even go down that path. Then I also had the opportunity to take in Black history yesterday. I was over at MWRD, and not only was President Carrie Steele, there was a list of women, including Ambassador and Senator Carol Moseley Braun, who, while we see her locally, regularly, she still holds a place in iconry, because before there was a Barack Obama, like Illinois put the black senator in space, and she was the first black woman and all of that stuff. So it's still an honor to see her. Shout out to Commissioner Barbara McGowan, Kimberly Lightford. I saw there were quite a few people over there. So shout out to MWRD because they had their Black History Month celebration yesterday.
You made all of that yesterday? That was a lot of work.
Man, I left out of the house to come to the show at 4:15. I walked back in the house at 9 o'clock. I'm here at 5. I was here at 5 o'clock this morning. I am also taping nationally tonight, so I will let you all know that as well, because I'll be taping nationally for PBS Nationwide tonight. So I'll let you know. It's crazy. They won't let me on Chicago tonight, but then I can go nationwide and can't make Chicago tonight. They called me yesterday through the BBC. I was like, you called me through the BBC. Can you call people at Chicago tonight and say, put me on?
Why do you want to do Chicago tonight then if you're getting these bigger opportunities?
Because I feel like, there are certain things in the Like Chicago Tonight is like the ultimate to me Chicago validation. But I also feel like they doing it on purpose, so I'm gonna let it be. I don't need nothing that bad. And speaking of needing nothing that bad, yesterday I made a suggestion or an inference that maybe it was time for Empire to stop taping here.
I saw that.
And it seemed like some people came for me, but I want to point something out to y'all. See how black people look at stuff and how white people look at stuff. Black people looking like, y'all is so good to us. We is going to keep our Empire jobs and we may still have us opportunity to audition. I'm not suggesting that Empire goes, but you don't give up your leverage. So my premise was, hey, maybe Empire should have to leave here. And guess what?
Because of Jussie Smollett?
Well, because I believe in leverage, right? So right now, Empire is on the ropes. Not on the ropes, but they got some issues in Chicago.
And they're also still supporting him. Like, they're still...
Because they was part of it. Yeah, see, okay, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop. Okay, I'm going to leave y'all alone because I go too deep for y'all. No,
we're here now. Go ahead.
But here's the thing. I think I'm telling you, I believe, well, I'm not even going there. But what I was suggesting was that we leverage more out of Empire locally. Because, quite frankly, I think black people here think that Empire tapes because Fox is so benevolent to us. Yeah. And because Fox is here to do us a favor. No, Fox tapes Empire here as well as all of those other shows because there is a tax credit. The taxpayers pay and subsidize their shows. So all I'm suggesting is use this as leverage to get more. While y'all so happy for y'all $4.99 jobs, think about this. Jussie Smollett was supposedly doing this because of lack of pay.
He was
because of the
about a little, 300 and something thousand a year.
Let's talk about it when we come back to talk Chicago 1690 news, traffic, and weather's next. So my point was, because I mean,
300,000 ain't a lot of money for somebody.
300.
I mean, it's a lot of money to me, but it's not a lot of money for somebody who is on TV and is like has a dope show. It should be, I mean, $300,000 a year, and you live in Chicago, you spending a third of that on housing downtown.
He ain't spending a third. But
you don't think
he ain't paying $100,000 a year. Nah, for him to be paying $100,000 a year, he better be living super stupid good. He better be like.
I know the building Taraji lives in.
Okay. Taraji and him.
Taraji lives in the same building as like Cubs players.
Okay. So.
And like right off of the lake, right over there in Streeterville. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was paying a good $8,000-$9,000 a month for rent.
Okay. So here's what I'm gonna say. What I'm going to say is when I suggested that we don't tape Empire here,
yeah,
the executives from Empire should feel, the whole stratosphere of Empire should feel the outrage of Black Chicago about this issue.
Right. Okay.
Right? And feel like, what do we need to do to be good corporate citizens? This has put a mark not only on Jussie, but on all of us. What do we need to do to make right or be a better community partner? Because not only did Jussie do it, but everybody did it, right?
Right.
Now, if you take that stance, and this show is as profitable as it is for Fox, because they pay low wages or whatever it is, but they also get a subsidized tax credit. They're not going to want that subsidized tax credit to go away. So instead of black people being like, it's all good, we just going to put it on the guy who can't pay none of the resources back. We could sue Jussie Smollett for the resources.
So the city would have to do that, right?
So if the city said that the judge could say, part of yours is you got to pay restitution. Jussie Smollett ain't going to never have the money to pay. If he's only making $300,000, he ain't going to never have the money to pay for those detectives.
Right.
If you put public pressure on Fox, Fox could potentially say, we'll cover the cost because we brought this fool here. And on top of it, here's what we're going to do. We're not only we're going to increase the production staff. We're going to increase the number of black vendors that we buy. We're going to increase. This is what we're going to do to make good for bringing this BS to your town. Negroes do like this. That's the dumbest shit I ever heard. Silly, we gotta keep our $4.99 jobs. And let me be clear, not everybody's making $4.99. I know people that are doing well from Empire, but I'm suggesting that they could do better. If you go into negotiations and you tell the people across the side you can't live without them, they don't gotta do nothing for you. Right? So you say, good God, Lord, save our empire. Don't Jesse, but save our empire. Instead of saying, we give y'all over $10 million a year. I don't know what the number is, so I'm just pulling one out of my ass. Yeah. That goes straight to your bottom line. When you get sued, nobody sues. If somebody is going to sue me because I'm Maze Jackson from WVON Morning Show, I'm gonna be listed on the lawsuit. But they're gonna sue as far up as if they think they can get Comcast. They're gonna get Comcast. That's how the Jewish lawyer would advise you. Right. The Negroes say, "We's happy now. It's like you call Jesse, we happy." Mm-hmm. And all I'm saying is, you don't have to be the jerk. You don't have to be the negotiator. But when the negotiator or a person says we have an opportunity for some leverage, don't be the niggas that undercut that. Be like, man, what more can you bring back? How many companies? Now, right now, if I was them, I would have leveraged some sort of legal. There's a lot of opportunities that could have been leveraged out of that. But of course,
the city also has to admit the amount of resources they use, and they're already lying about that.
Okay, so again, here's the lick. Mm-hmm. Again, we want to be so smart that we don't. So we gonna fight the city.
No, but what I'm saying is the city gotta admit the resources they use.
The city did admit that they used the resources.
They only used 6 detectives, and those detectives weren't taken from other communities. Like that's what Eddie Johnson said yesterday. And we're hearing from other people that they used 24 detectives. He said it was only 6, and then those resources weren't coming from other communities. So if we're saying, hey, you took our resources, they're saying, no, you didn't.
Unless I'm slow, the stuff that you sent me for the voting, I can't find on the.
That's what I'm saying. I want you to call Jim Allen.
Or
call somebody from the Board of Elections. 7 o'clock.
Okay.
My point is, it's like we getting ready, so we'll start a fight with ourselves. Mm-hmm. Like we can come up. I bet you if the city knew that there was a number, it's like Eddie Johnson can't win for losing, no matter what happened, because he found out he done busted. So if they wouldn't have investigated this, we'd have been walking around here chasing red-headed MAGA hats, and the whole country is focused on this situation. No matter what you say, no matter how stupid it is to us, the whole country is focused on it.
Literally, my dad called me from Alabama like, what is going on in Chicago? What's going on with that boy? Shout out to Roy. My dad called me like, what's going on? And he don't pay attention to stuff like that.
So now, if they don't solve this, this is a national story forever. Mm-hmm. Man, it is red MAGA hats, homophobe, bash, and whatever. So when he said a hate crime, we got to figure it out. I'm biased with Eddie. I'm biased with Eddie Johnson. Like Eddie? I like Eddie Johnson and the fact that he is Sigma. It just, no, you say, but it's like fundamental. So I'm admitting my bias.
That's your brother.
I'm admitting my bias, but part of what I do is tell you I'm a loyal person.
That's fair.
So, but that stated, if they wouldn't have solved it, the whole world would have been like Jussie Smollett came to Chicago and got beat down by some MAGA hat wearing, and it would have changed the whole dynamic. So now,
it also would have affected all this money they invested into center space over there.
Right.
Now they're trying to bring all these production companies here, and if you got people feeling like, celebrities aren't safe in Chicago, then.
And somebody said, why no black detectives? don't y'all want the black detectives in the black neighborhoods? You see what I mean when people can't win for losing? Right? So if they would have took black detectives out, Streeterville got white detectives in white neighborhoods. But I'm not even trying to make that explain, because I'm not trying to deploy all that. What I'm saying is, niggas call me stupid for saying that we could leverage this opportunity to create better opportunities. You damn near could have created a whole nother series from this, or got some other company or somebody a screenplay or somebody a directorship or something, but don't just walk away from it like, oh, we don't get nothing. But we so happy because I get to be an extra. I get to walk around the set. That's the problem. That same mentality, I'm a extra on the show, so let all the rest of the shit go. Stupid. You are tuned in to Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Sitting in with me is Miss Jasmine Turner. Jasmine, how you feeling this morning?
I am feeling amazing. It's Friday. We got an amazing show coming today, so I just can't wait.
Man, well, I'm going to tell you, we got so much going on. Look, but I want to get to the social media question of the day. The Jussie Smollett hoax has gotten everyone a bit ticked off because Jussie's story was so, in my opinion, what people wanted to believe was a reality, right? They wanted to believe. I feel like people wanted to be like, I told you, in this era of Trump, it's people even in Chicago walking around with MAGA hats and doing people in.
And throwing bleach on people.
Right. So, but when it came apart, I feel like it fit the narrative perfectly. But I felt like some of us knew it fit almost too perfectly. MAGA hat, child letter, noose around the neck, punch in the eye, call the police, no cameras. It just was almost too perfect. And then when we found out that it wasn't, it got me to thinking about a saying my mama used to tell me. Say, you tell a lie, you're going to have to tell another lie. You tell another lie, you got to tell another lie, and then the next thing you know, you are way out there. And so, because you got to protect the first lie. And so I was, and yesterday I was thinking like, man, they need to lock Jussie Smollett up.
I think they should lock him up. Because first of all, he still is not admitting guilt. Like, he's actually going to take this to trial, it looks like. And so if you're going to do all this and use more resources, then yeah, lock him up.
Now, I think I was in that because I was a little, salty.
Why? Why were you salty?
Because I was salty. No, I was in the lock 'em up category. But yesterday, Sister Helen was like, not Helen Tyner, but a different Helen at the. She's like, man, we tired talking about this Jussie Smollett. We knew that boy was lying. We from Chicago.
Right.
But then she said, I don't think he should go to jail because I think a lot of people have told a lie. Have you ever told a lie, Jasmine?
Yeah, of course, but never.
But have you ever told a lie?
Of course.
Okay.
That's a big lie, though.
Hold on.
You can't compare, oh, you look cute, when I know that person doesn't look cute, too. Like,
that's the biggest lie you ever told?
I'm not a lie to my parents. And my
Okay, so let me ask a question. Because, see, this is what I'm saying. So I don't. So I was with the whole lock him up because it was sensational. It was like, lock him up.
But also, you felt good because, people attacked you because of what you said.
Right. So I was like, yeah. I do feel like the lock him up was like just the extra twist and turn to all the people who was. But I've heard people say we should lock him up. But I was just thinking, like, have you ever told a lie? And if you, WVON family, because this is the social media question of the lie. Hello. Okay. Let me get it out. If you've ever told a lie, what is the furthest you've gone to protect a lie? Right? Now, hold on, because look, everybody cheesing now. Everybody thinking in their mind like, I'm just saying. Have you ever told a lie in a relationship? Have you ever told a lie to a parent? To a friend, right? And how far have you gone to protect that lie? I think of a story. I'm going to give you an example, right? So when I was in Springfield, like Springfield is kind of like a best kept secret once you get used to it.
Okay.
And like the legislators and all the lobbyists, it's a really, it's kind of like college with credit cards and expense accounts.
Okay.
And so late at night, if you depending on what you do, you get to kick it. It's a lot of hanging out bars, drinking and stuff. And I never forget. And so the legislators kind of have different lives down there. And I'll never forget one legislator was joking with me and he was like, man, he said, one time my wife asked me to come to Springfield with me. And so in the process of saying that she wanted to come to Springfield with me, don't call me while I'm on air and you listening. If you go down to his wife wanted to come to Springfield with him and see what was going on. Now it's a 2-hour drive, but because he didn't want her to come back again because he had a lot of stuff going on, he said he drove 10 hours in circles around to get to the place, and she was like, "I never coming back down here. I can't believe you drive this far, right?"
Wait, so
just so she wouldn't come back, he took her on a 10-hour trip so that she wouldn't be like, "Oh, I'm gonna just drive down here." She was like, "Oh no, just wanted to kill." You know, I'm gonna say that
she must be slow though. How do you not see that you're going in the same direction?
Yeah, I'm just saying. What'd you say, Sonia? Yes, pre-GPS. Oh, right. Yeah, pre-GPS. But I'm saying, what have you Jasmine, you ain't never told no lie?
You know what? That's just not one of my things. Like,
so your mom and daddy you ain't never stay out late?
So here's the thing. I was lucky growing up because my mom's boyfriend, now my stepdad, he lived in a city an hour away. So she would like be gone on the weekends and stuff like that. So like I was just lucky in that situation.
So she never asked you? She didn't say, "Did you go?"
No, I did. One time I lied. She came.
You only told one lie in your life.
I'm just thinking. I'm not a liar though. That's just not my thing. But one time she came home and my boyfriend was there with me and he had to climb out the window, walk to the front door and knock to come in as if we were about to go to church together.
See?
So, she knows the truth now. I told her the story eventually.
See? That's what I'm talking about, right?
But that's been a long time ago.
I'm just asking, how far have you gone to protect a lie?
How far have you gone to protect a lie?
Ooh. Right? See? You don't never. Can I tell you what? I'm telling you, man, I'm going to tell you in a different life, like I'm such a reformed person now.
Me too.
I'm such a reformed. I think I learned, a lie begets a lie begets a lie. Come on, y'all. I know y'all got one. Somebody has told a lie to get out of, let me tell you. You know who be telling some lies?
I mean, when I used to have a corporate job, I used to lie, reasons for not going to work and things like that.
Okay, but how far did you go? Did you cough? You ever call the job and be like, I don't feel good.
You know what? One time, I will never forget this. I scheduled a meeting with my team. And I forgot that I was supposed to have that meeting with my team, and I was out with my friends doing things you ain't supposed to do while you at work, and came back not sober to the job, and my team was sitting there like, "Yo, you had a meeting with us," and I lied like, "I canceled that meeting. What y'all talking about?"
See, I'm telling y'all, y'all done told a lie. Okay, all right, so y'all George Washington now. Let me tell y'all, it's the WVON Morning Show. When we come back, you will answer the social media question of the day. How far have you gone to protect a lie? It's the Talk of Chicago 1690.
Man, who is this? Turn your thing on me real quick. Who is John Rimber? This dude is coming.
John is hilarious.
Who is that? Look, he's talking about she a goddamn lie right now.
So I hit up Jim. What's funny is that when you sent me that text, you know how you can just read it without opening it? I didn't see that you asked me to hit up Jim, so my bad. So I called him, but no answer. I sent him a text and I sent him an email.
Okay, see if we can find
so we can get him. I'm gonna tell y'all, about being a parent,
go stand over there.
Lie to you big time.
Go stand over there.
And I used to. I'm gonna put my son on blast. And so,
okay.
We moved a lot. So BJ went to a lot of different schools. Now, what I didn't know is that when you the new boy on the block, they're gonna test you all the time, fighting, right? Everywhere you went, this boy fighting. Sounds like Oprah everywhere, but he did. So, but it just extended way too long. So I just had to come to the school all the time and defend this boy. So one day I come and pick him up. He got a bruise all on the side of his face. I said, "What happened to you?" And he was like, "I got jumped on." And I said, "You know what? I'm sick of this mess." So I go into the principal office and I found find out who was doing the jumping on him, right? This boy just happened to be slow. He shouldn't even been in the classroom. He should have been one of those special ed. Because what he does is whenever that move comes, he goes around and slap everybody. Slap everybody.
No, he ain't slapping everybody.
Well, listen,
Shit.
slapping everybody. But then when he's not in that mood, they bother him. And so my son just happened to be one time bothered him too many times, and while he wasn't looking, the boy slammed him. But I'm up in school, BJ was like, oh, he bothering me, I didn't do anything, blah, blah, blah. So I go up in the school like, I demand this boy to get out of this classroom. Because he's special needs, he shouldn't be here, he does.
And he's abusing people. So
Right, he's abusing people, he gotta go. The principal told my son, next time he messes with you, you say, no, Charles, stop, Charles. I said, oh, what am I going to call the police? I'm going to call the police right now. He said, hold up. Wait a minute.
your son told you hold up?
No, the principal told me to hold up.
Okay.
Because I was tired of BJ having a fight. Mm-hmm. Well, as he got older, of course, you know how they want to tell you everything. Mm-hmm. Oh, he's like, yeah, I started all those fights. I was like, what? I said, did you see me? I'm up here defending you. You starting all the fights? Are you crazy? I said, that's not even cool. It's not cool. So how far do they go? They will go to no end to keep up that one lie because they're embarrassed.
Man.
Embarrassed.
But
Or my son don't want to get his butt beat.
Yeah.
Do not put your hands on people unless they're doing that to you. That has always been my motto. I don't care about you fighting, but as long as you're defending yourself.
No. Sometimes you got to be the aggressor. Sometimes you got to be like, when people get that look, they got to know.
And a little boy came up to BJ one day. We were at Dominic's, and BJ standing here. The little boy comes up to my son like this. Hi, BJ. Hi, BJ. Hi, BJ. And BJ like this.
being mean to the little boy.
So I didn't know it was the boy that they got into the conflict all the time. And so I walk up to my son. Don't you ever be rude like that again. You speak when people speak. Well, that's Charles. I said, oh, okay. But he's been lying to me about Charles all this time. Charles is special needs, and he knew it. And
what's the farthest you ever had to go to keep alive, to back up on a lie?
Y'all ain't never had no lies with no relationship lies that you had.
Yeah, but what's messed up is trying to remember those lies.
Person be like, I messed up, I need to tell you something.
I don't want to.
Oh no, don't have. Hell no.
Remember a lie is what kills me, because I got to figure out what the heck I told you.
Yeah.
So as I got older, I stopped it. I'll tell you the truth head on. I don't care if you like it, but trying to remember those lies.
Well,
I
I'd
get
be
caught up. No.
Yeah, now I'd be like, my whole premise is.
You know what I thought about one?
No, you got some. You better stop that.
Yeah,
I would tell you, my premise now is.
I had a sugar daddy in college. I had a.
Oh, God.
Man, he thought we was in a whole relationship. Like.
Man, I'm gonna tell you. I think when it comes to telling a lie. Well, first of all, now I don't lie because I think like, what you gonna do?
Exactly.
Can you whoop my ass?
Exactly.
That like fundamentally now I feel like, can you whoop my ass? I think, and then the other part is like respect.
Yeah.
So now I feel like it used to be a time when I didn't necessarily have the ultimate respect for my relationships. Really. And so I think now, like,
What age was that? What age?
man, I think that was up until
18
That's
through
culture in general.
30. What is it?
no, I think that up until I think I learned a lot of lessons. And then after, I think they all culminated after I got divorced. Right? Like the lessons and like kind of like, I think until you recognize the part that you play in it, and even that, sometimes I think you don't even, like sometimes you can be so consumed in a lie that it becomes almost in your mind a reality, and it is everybody else.
Or if you don't understand the consequences of that lie, like you don't see how it affects other people. I think a lot of times this will happen with men in general, because you'll see a lot of guys, like most men, they'll say like, oh, I didn't become a good guy until my 30s or whatever. But I think they don't understand the consequences of those lies. They see them as like,
It is what it is.
I see, like you think it is part of the game, but
yeah.
Yes.
it's like, and it's in some ways you're rewarded. Some ways you're taught that.
Yeah,
Like,
it's culture.
man, I what I would really love to do is have a conversation one day. I think I got to do that on a podcast because, man, it's a super touchy subject.
About what?
But
About what?
Well, I think that this conversation could go into infidelity. I think this conversation could go into some real interesting places. It's a touchy subject because you don't want to, like, I feel like there's so much I could share, teach, talk about. I really feel like there's so much that people could learn from that conversation with a lot of guys. But guys can't talk about it because there's no safe. You can't talk about it because ultimately, if you talk about it, then you're really putting someone on blast or yourself on blast, and
You can't recover from it.
no, it's like sometimes you don't want to. Like, I don't think. Man, I think if you were to really break down some things, you could probably really hurt people.
So Devon Franklin has a book out right now.
Oh, we had him.
Y'all had him on?
Yeah.
You ain't like
Well,
it?
no,
Oh, okay.
he was here last 2 weeks ago.
Well, that's one of the things that he talks about and how, like, you
Get
know,
those calls up.
men inherit some type of players naturally inside of them, and it has to be in a
Put the calls up. I just want to take them. I'm gonna take them real quick.
So I think you should definitely have a conversation because women would love it.
I want you to know. I want you to know. From Pinocchio. So now I'm gonna leave you. You are tuned into the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Mace Jackson. Sitting in with me is Miss Jasmine Turner. And we are asking the social media question of the day. How far have you gone to protect a lie? I'm going to go straight to the phone lines. Mike, you're on the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. How are you, man?
Hey, what's up, man?
What's up, Mike? I ain't heard from you in a minute, man.
Yeah, man, been busy.
Okay.
Hey, look, man, but I had to call in because I'm tired of all this stuff about Jesse, what's his name, Smollett or whatever.
Yep.
And hearing our embarrassing police superintendent talk about he's upset. So what one fabrication offsets all the realities of our folks being beaten and mistreated, you know. And then other thing is, hey, I've never heard this fool express any outrage towards his racist cops that he has on the police force mistreating our people. Eddie Johnson can go to hell.
Oh, wait, Mike. I heard it. I heard that. Mike, tell us how you really feel.
hell.
But dang, I just wanted to know, how far have you gone to protect a lie? Jerry, you're on the Talk of Chicago 1690.
Thanks, man, for accepting my call. Listen, strap in. I had a lie going so that I mentally put it in a nightmare compartment in my mind until I started going spiritually before I was confronted that it really did happen. I repented and I'm sorry about it and everything, but that's how far I went. I took it to it being a nightmare.
Oh, wait. I heard that. Let's go to Walter. Walter, have you...
Man, listen, Maze, top of the morning to you, man. You know, I'm going to tell you, just out of my heart, I used to get mad at you because you were so upbeat, but when it gets to be a serious topic and you get down, I'm really proud of you. But the thing that I was upset about is that we're too quick to throw our people under the bus. Right or wrong, they're still our people. No other race of people does that but us. But I really got bothered with the superintendent when he made a statement once defending a cop that he knew was wrong. And he said the guy was right because he followed policy. Well, fight policy. You're the superintendent. You're being controlled by City Hall. He got that job after the mayor wasted $500,000 on a bogus search for a superintendent and then pulled him out the back room. You know, we're too quick to take our own. Oh, we make mistakes. We ain't perfect, but we've been victimized long enough.
Walter, I'm gonna tell you what. I I am at the point where I think we should really think about this a little bit more. Hey, it's Talk Chicago 1690 out. They telling me I got to get out of here, so we'll be back after traffic news and the weather.
WVON.
I wasn't even paying attention to what he said, so pardon me.
You talking about right or wrong? It's still
Well, I'm going to tell you this, though. I do think okay, so, wait.
Please. We got some bad, black people got bad apples too. We got to understand that and accept that. We got some bad apples too, and we can't keep trying to save bad apples that don't want to be saved. Now, I'm not necessarily saying Jussie is a bad apple, but I don't believe in the whole right or wrong. They still are people. Like, no.
I believe, well, first of all, is Jussie black?
Yes. Maze, you gonna make everybody take a whistle for the black people DNA test.
How black is Jussie? Because somebody told me Jussie was Jewish.
You know what?
Mm-hmm.
You know that's Journey Smollett's brother, right?
I don't know who the hell no Journey Smollett. Somebody
Yes,
said that to me.
Journey from Eve's Bayou.
Mm.
You know exactly. And she was in all of the, the Nickelodeon.
I'm too old for Nickelodeon.
True, but you've seen her before. You know she was a star way before him. She was in Eve's Bayou. They're black.
Wait a minute, I got 2 streams going.
Oh, and you saw Elizabeth Warren is pushing reparations?
This the same Elizabeth Warren that was a
Native American?
uh-huh.
Yep. Oh, they said his father is Jewish. They specifically said a Jew, but I ain't trying to start with Jewish people. Black Jewish guys or white Jewish? Because you can be Jewish and black or biracial. Is his dad a white Jewish man or a black Jewish man?
All right, y'all, take a moment, share the broadcast. What's up? How's everybody with me today? You rocking? All right, what up, Daryl Stiff? What up, Tiger Lily? What up, Celine?
What story did you have in your promo? Did you want to do it at 7? Because I can't remember it.
All I had was the only thing I had was we did 112, we did the middle class, we did remaster Sam Cooke. I don't have anything else for 7. Remember, 7 was the open time.
Okay.
That's why I was trying to talk to dude.
Okay.
All right. Right, I agree. I'm telling you, Tony fires God Isaac. I'm telling you that you cannot. Man.
For that post yesterday?
Yes, you
That's
cannot.
the guy. I think that's him.
I told you.
Let's go, let me see. He's. Let me go. If that's him, he been out of. How's Isaac spelled?
Cisk. Man, I'm with you. I believe, I think so. Look, y'all don't want to hear me, man. Y'all do not want to hear me when I tell you that these people, they don't play. They play it. Y'all are watching political gangsterism at the highest level. The highest.
Oh, no, that's not him.
So is it,
This dude is
Okay, we getting ready to-
saying all types of little out of control stuff. It's a white dude. And he be talking about black candidates.
is he Jerry? It's not Jerry Morrison?
How's Jerry name spelled? Jerry?
Jerry. SEIU is filled with white folks.
This dude is younger.
How about Scott Castro?
Castr?
Kastrup. Go to your page and just find his name. I want to know who it is. Because I'm sure it's somebody. Damn, y'all.
I'm trying to think the one time that I was like, this dude was out of control. What was the black lady's name that was running? She had signed up to run for mayor, but she was like super hood. You know, do you remember?
Carolyn. Oh, I know. Carol. Tycoon.
The tycoon.
Yeah. No, I know who.
They had posted about her, and I was like, dang, dude, feels real comfortable.
Yeah, I got you, Dre.
Auto show savings at
Hey, y'all, take a moment, share the broadcast. Share the broadcast, share the broadcast, share the broadcast. Y'all cracking me up, talk about y'all ain't never had no lie, y'all ain't protected. Yeah, I don't think Tony's team wants her to win. I'm going to tell you what I believe. I believe that she has been internally infiltrated.
I can see that.
Tony. What's up, y'all? I'm sorry. So just think about this now. Think about that that anti-Semitic post. Can you imagine somebody with $1 million taking it and running a commercial with it all throughout the runoff? Tony is officially dead. All the Jewish people are about to be like, really? I wonder where her Jewish gangster mafia woman is. Jim Alita, you a fool. I'm telling you. I think, let me tell y'all what has happened. What I believe is, I heard that there's now a bounty. Y'all don't want me to tell y'all. Y'all don't want me to tell y'all. See, right now, everybody is really starting to see what's happening, so they trying to prove they work to the other team. And I'm just telling y'all, it's going down. Like, now, Jim Alita, you already know. Hey, Celine, how you think the anti-Semitic stuff is gonna play out? I know she fired him, but man, you know, I swear to God, I want to be. I swear to God, right now, this is the time when you want to be like the campaign manager of the opposition. Because right now, I would use that to bury. You are tuned in to Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Sitting in with me is my co-host, Miss Jasmine Turner. Jasmine from Black Match Made. Jasmine, how you feeling this morning?
I am feeling great, and that is not a lie.
That is not a lie. I promise to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Okay, so I do this at the top of the hour. I gotta say what's up to the WVON morning show team. What's up to Annette Flournoy in the newsroom, as well as Miss Sonia Escobar. Hey, y'all, they told me I've been talking too much about politics.
What? That's what it's supposed
I
to
be
be
talking.
on the show.
I'm talking too much about politics, but I think I think it's just because all of the campaigns have run together. But I really do think that this is, guys. Do you realize that next Tuesday we will be whittling the 14 candidates down, as well as
Finally.
Yeah, I think so. I'm glad. I'm about election fatigued, and then I'm thinking like, this will all be over in May.
When are we gonna find out what's in it for the black people is endorsing?
It will be this weekend. I will release this one. It will definitely be before Tuesday's polling place. Before Tuesday's election. We waffled a lot back and forth with the 14, and with what's in it for the black people's voters guide. The goal is to provide people with the most information, and make them informed. And it was again really about the judges initially. I am going to release one, and we'll cover the biggest races. We're going to be looking for like places like Harvey, where Keith Price is running for mayor, and can really make a change out there. Places like the 20th Ward, where we got people like Andre Smith, who are at the forefront, who really called out the Chicago police department.
Right.
Man,
Yesterday.
people was making fun of him. They was talking crazy, and he basically said what so many black Chicagoans were thinking. And as a matter of fact, I think after that, Bobby Rush stepped up and endorsed him. So that's interesting. Did you see? Hey, check this out. Chicago Crusader, black newspaper. Guess who they endorsed?
Not another black person.
Guess who they endorsed?
I'm gonna take a wild guess and say Lori Lightfoot.
Guess who they endorsed?
Daily.
Bingo. I'm telling y'all, y'all do not want to believe me when I tell y'all what is happening in this world. I am telling you what is happening in this world. Now, people get mad at me. They call me sellout. I'm just telling y'all what I see. And I am telling you that I see dead people rising back up.
So what exactly do you see?
Well, you know what I think? I want to hear what y'all see. I want to hear what you all see. I can't see it, so let me see in a second. I want to know what you all see. Talk to me about, I talk a lot about mayors. Like people call me, they send me emails. Maze, I don't like how you don't let me talk about, you only talk about one candidate. You don't like Queen Sugar, and you didn't talk about my automatic race. So I want to know, you know what, let's use today a little bit of time to let the WVON family call in and tell us what are the most important races. Who are you supporting? Maybe you can tell us who you're supporting for mayor and why. You can't be doing no hour. But you can call us and tell us who you're supporting for mayor. But I want to know, what about the treasurer's race? We talked about yesterday the city treasurer's race. Melissa Conyers-Irvin versus two other, Pawar and Peter Garepi. We got to say their names, right? Peter Garepi and Amaya Pawar. But we have one black candidate. We trying to figure something out on the black in the mayor's race with 6 black candidates.
Right. And I need somebody from the 3rd Ward to call in. I live in the 3rd Ward. I want to know what y'all trying to do.
Yeah, man. I want to know who's supporting Pat Dow.
Hopefully nobody.
I mean, I bet you Pat Dow got a lot of supporters.
I mean,
that
got a lot of money, that's for sure.
Well, but that's because the white folks give it to her so she can
And
sell the black people out. That's why so the black people, she can pay for the black people to move.
I'm just saying, there's another candidate in the race. I know her personally. She's a pretty amazing person.
And then let me tell you this. How about this? So in case you all did not hear, I tried to say this at the beginning of the show. Senior advisor to Tony Preckwinkle, Scott Cizik. There is nobody close. Scott Cizik and Scott Castro, when she kicks all the black people out the room, those 2 white boys are the people that make the decisions. Those are the white guys that say, hey, Tony, even though you didn't march, the black people love when you talk about Laquan McDonald. Right? Well, yesterday, in response to Lori Lightfoot, did y'all see that Robin Kelly endorsed Lori Lightfoot?
I did.
How crazy was that? Considering Robin Kelly worked for Tony Preckwinkle. Tony Preckwinkle ain't got no damn friends.
Maybe her friends know what's going on and that she's not going to make it into this runoff, and they're just trying to get in where they fit in.
Well, then,
this will be the second white guy Tony's had to get rid of.
Man, she had to get rid of her top white guy, John Keller.
Right.
That was her chief of staff. Now she had to get rid of her right-hand man. But her right-hand man, can I tell you, as much smack as I talk, and y'all know I discriminate against everybody equally. It's 2 groups I know I can't talk about. I cannot talk about the Jewish community. No, won't do it. Don't you? Not me. And won't mess with the LGBT community. And imagine yesterday, Jasmine, I didn't even think about that. Scott Cizik, who is the senior topmost advisor to Tony Preckwinkle, posted about compared Lori Lightfoot to the Nazi war criminals.
You know what's really interesting? For her to claim this whole first black woman mayor, whole black girl magic movement, both of them got in trouble for doing things to who?
Black women.
Black women.
Lori Lightfoot stopped doing stuff to black women. She married a white lady. Hey, let me tell y'all though. Think about this. So check this out. You know how you know you can't mess with nobody. Who you can't mess with? Scott Sizik was fired within 2 hours. Within 2 hours. Now you know you could kill a black man and come back to work and get a cup of coffee and roses. You mention the Nazis, and I'm not tripping. See that, black folks? You see that?
Right.
That's power. Now, what I'm waiting on is, I'm waiting to hear from, what did the mayor have to say? Because
Did he endorse Sony? No.
No, but I want to know what he has to say about this Jewish coming. You know who else I really want to hear from? J.B. Pritzker. J.B. Pritzker, who paid for... What? The Holocaust? He built the Holocaust Museum. Do y'all know what the Jewish people say? Never forget. Never. Oh, no.
They tell us to forget, though.
Get over it. All right, y'all. I'm sorry. So I'm just telling you, my man just hit me up and said, can I tell y'all how I think Chicago is so gangster?
How?
I believe that Tony may be getting done from inside out. I don't believe that he was that stupid. I believe that he was like, man, I'm trying to get me one of them golden parachutes and it's not looking good. I think when you look at some of the activities of some of the people, like that whole Al with the video, when we heard the secret tapes, when the phone from the Facebook Live.
Oh yes, that was like
Like,
an amateur mistake.
But if it was an amateur mistake or it was a professional setup.
Right.
And I'm telling you,
The machine is actually trying to push her out of the way to push up another candidate, and who would that candidate be?
I keep telling y'all what's happening. Y'all don't want to hear me, but it's like y'all
So
want.
you trying to tell me Chicago is that gangster?
Are you saying Chicago? Chicago.
I mean, just imagine like.
Did you listen to what she just said? She said, "Okay." Did you say that one? Say that one more time.
You mean to tell me Chicago is that gangster?
Slow it. Say it in slow motion.
Do you mean to tell me that Chicago is that gangster?
You think it ain't?
It ain't? That's an elaborate. Like,
I'm not suggesting that it's. I'm not suggesting that that's the truth. What I'm suggesting is it's not impossible. I'm telling you, I got people on a lot of campaigns right now. You think I ain't got nobody in Tony Preckwinkle's campaign?
Right.
You think I don't?
Right.
You think I know everything that happened on a daily basis? Seriously? If you think I'm just mazed.
Right. Just mazed.
I'm just mazed. Can you imagine? Okay, I can't pay. I just got people who be like, hey man, I'm what's in it for the black people on the secret code. So look, I'm gonna tell you what be happening, but don't you tell my name.
Right.
I can't pay for that. That's just the solidarity of black folks. Imagine when you got $8 million and you could pay everybody. You could pay people. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, Talk Chicago 1690. We'll be back.
Kyle, that's his name. Kyle Hilton.
Oh, Kyle think he is the king of black people. All these white folks done got white privilege. When he got blessed on the
control, saying whatever he want to say.
and black people left.
I'd be like, who is this dude that just can talk however he wants to talk? That's his name, Kyle Hillman. He talked about
Because he run all the social. He's a lobbyist for the social service agencies. So his job is to be the black rescuer. You know, he saved black
But he
people.
like straight, like he feels like he can say what he want to say about issues in the black community. What's up, William Raleigh? What's up, Darius Randall? What up, Melissa Harper, Deborah Jones, Maria Munoz, Tamika Hope? What's good? Tucson, hello. What's up, Sharon? Big up, Sharon. Hey, Sean Howard. Hey, Stephanie. All right, y'all. Are any of y'all still undecided, or do y'all know who y'all voting for? Carlton, hey gangster, he a gangster. Yeah, so Maze was talking about how some of these white people on Tony's campaign are literally out of control, and I was trying to find the one guy who is like always out of control, saying things to black people about black candidates in ways he literally just like shouldn't feel that comfortable saying. And I was looking up his name, and it's old dude, Kyle Hillman. Absolutely out of control. But obviously somebody must have told him that he could get away with saying those things. So y'all, do you know who you're voting for? Or are you still undecided? You don't have to say the person. I just want to know if there's still 20% of people out there undecided. You vote for Maze? Maze should have ran, huh? I don't know, y'all. What I see, I don't know. I think I'm trying. Who do you think gonna make a runoff?
I told you already.
You said Daley and who though?
Willie Wilson.
I was just supposed to say, you think Willie Wilson like that?
I think Willie Wilson has a very good chance of making a runoff. A very good chance of making a runoff. Very good. I think that.
Did you get that message I sent you about a couple weeks ago? I messaged you on Facebook.
Yeah. So.
You still believe that he has a very good chance?
Yeah. I mean, I think that a day is forever in politics. So first of all, somebody needs to watch Tony Preckwinkle though, because he might just have Scott sneaking and helping, right? We got to see if he's actually excommunicated from the campaign. But you got to have somebody watching that, right? So you got to watch that.
And it's only a few days, so like.
They already picked it, Tucson. I keep telling y'all don't want to hear me.
They already picked what?
They already know who is going. They need somebody who get that library done. Let me tell y'all what.
The Obama library?
Mm-hmm. They ain't going. And Valerie Jarrett can't save. Like, here's the thing. The Obamas were powerful nationally.
Are they really powerful?
Hold on, but perception-wise.
Oh.
In Chicago, they ain't got the infrastructure.
Right.
So Valerie Jarrett was made by the Dailies. So it's like you can try and come back and kick your boss ass, but they still be like,
Right.
I gave you your first job. I made you. I just don't think y'all. I mean, Yeah, the shadow of death. Oh no, never for Preckwinkle for me. Deserve it. Prayers in the street light. You are tuned in to the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Mace Jackson. Sitting in with me is Miss Jasmine Turner Black, match made. Jasmine,
What's that? What's good? I'm
telling you, they are putting work in on Tony Preckwinkle.
And she only has a few days left. But I mean, I'm happy and excited about this because I don't want to see Tony. I don't want Tony to be the black candidate in the runoff. If we get a black candidate, I don't want it to be her.
Why?
Because Tony is not for black people. Like, to be honest, and I feel like Lori Lightfoot don't care much about black people either, but I would maybe like her more than Tony.
I like her. I want to meet Lori Lightfoot's Taylor. That's what I want to meet her Taylor because he be cutting them suits up real good. Let me go to the phone lines though. What do y'all care about? Talk to me. Juanita, you on the Talk Chicago 1690?
Yes, how are you?
I'm great, Juanita.
I'm he needs to be Bill. He needs to be replaced.
Ooh.
Definitely be replaced.
So who are you voting for in the 9th Ward?
There's a lady. Her name is Cleopatra.
Okay.
And I'm anybody but Bill.
Ooh. Who you voting for mayor?
Willie Wilson.
Okay, Willie Wilson. Now, what about Treasurer? Oh, go ahead. What you got? I'm sorry.
Can I tell you about another spin on this Jesse Millette? Just real quickly.
Quick.
Giving you another thought. I think there was a tie-in between Willie Wilson and Eddie Johnson. Remember that there are Johnson is not solving any crimes, and he knows that. There's another mayor coming in. And isn't this the opportune moment to take this business down there with Jesse Millette and him? And that's why he went so hard in saying crazy things on TV, because him and Jesse Millette got together and they faked this crap and made Eddie Johnson look like he's really working for the people, you know.
Oh.
But people were able to see through this garbage.
Thank you, Juanita. Andre Smith. Is that Andre Smith from the 20th Ward?
Andre Smith, the fighter for the people.
Hey, the fighter for the people. Hey, man, let me tell you what. Shout out to Andre Smith in the 20th Ward for going out and really having the press conference and putting it on front and letting people know what's going on. Dre, you got about 1 minute. Go for me, brother.
I want to thank Congressman Bobby Rush for his endorsement. I went yesterday downtown to face Eddie Johnson. He refused to answer any of my questions, but one thing I noticed was I seen those 23 white detectives, and there was one high yellow, black guy with him. So, it's totally injustice to our people.
Andre, can I ask you a quick question? Because Eddie Johnson said there were 6 detectives. That's what was in the news conference, and then you guys are saying 24. Where is
Well, I was saying 24. I was saying 12. When I was on the radio yesterday, a detective texted in and said that it was 24 detectives.
Okay, so how many was it?
So it was 24. So why don't Eddie release the reports on how much resource was used and how many detectives was it?
Well, I'm going to say it don't make a difference. Oh, I'm sorry. That was Andre Smith, running candidate for 20th Ward Alderman, just endorsed by Bobby Rush. Hey, man, y'all, also a member of What's in It for the Black People. Out there fighting, man. He had everybody on point. Shout out to brother, is this Brother Ball or Brother Hall?
Brother Ball,
What's up, Brother Ball? Talk to me.
Man, come on, baby. I need you to stay on your job, man. I got to get these lollipops up out of here. First and foremost, you're on your job when you're exposing lollipops. Tony Prewinkle, we already know. We can't be silly. We got to get Brother Willie in there. Lori Lightfoot, she's going to get exposed, too. The further you dig into her. She had one of the first Laquan McDonald cases, I think the kid before Laquan, and she was responsible for that. It's just sad that we even got McCarthy eligible to be the mayor.
Look at that. Brother Ball, so you said stop being silly and vote for Willie. That's what. And vote for Willie.
And get the lollipops out of here.
Hey, man, you know about them black lollipops? Them black lollipops drive me crazy. Let me go to Milton. Milton, you on the Talk Chicago, 1690. Okay. Milton gone. Let me go to Brother Hall. Brother Hall, you on the Talk Chicago, 1690. Line 1, Brother Hall.
Are you there?
I'm there, Brother Hall. Come on.
All right. Good morning to you and your wonderful guest. I'm always glad to hear her when she's on.
Morning.
Listen, the real race maze is between Pará and Sister Urban. And that's where I'm focusing on, man. I'm focusing on that race. And these black folks that's carrying the water for others ought to be ashamed of themselves. Matter of fact, anybody south of Madison ought to be hung if they don't vote.
Dang, hung? Okay, come on, Brother Hall. We just had a news incident. Don't say hung. Can we?
I have to say hung.
I heard.
Ain't no shame in my game.
That's what I'm talking about.
Don't say Rosa.
That's what I'm talking about, Brother Hall. Hold on.
What ward are you in?
I'm actually now in the 4th ward.
Okay, what you doing in the 4th ward? Who you got with that one?
I'm riding with the alderman who I think. I'm riding with the alderman, Seville King, most definitely. But for mayor, I'm 95% there, but don't want to declare that yet.
You got to call me back on Monday then, cause I'm taking. Look, on Monday.
Call you back on Monday, right?
Call me back on Monday, and we're gonna take a list. right? And not even in not a hateful list, but we just gonna take a poll and see where everybody at and see who's right. Okay? Brother, how you? All right, let's go. Let's go. It's the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM on the live line. Is that Eddie Johnson?
That's right, man. Eddie, candidate in 16 Ward.
All right, come on. I was like, wait a minute. The police chief is up, the superintendent. Eddie, what's up, man? What you got?
Hey, man, you got a question. What's in it for the black people? But this is my question. Let's stop. Who's stealing for the black people?
Ooh.
In 16 Ward, let's not be misled. Not just in 16 Ward and all these wards. These ordinances that's in place now, they're the ones that voted and set their mouth about the requirement McDonald's. They're the ones that cut the parking tickets down from 3 to 2 to get your a boot on your car. They the ones that got this water tax, the plastic bag tax that's gouging our community.
So who you got? Who you got?
I'm the candidate, man. It's Eddie Johnson, the 16th Ward Alderman.
Hey, Eddie Johnson running the 16th Ward, and it ain't the police chief. Robert, you on the Talk of Chicago. You my last call for this segment.
Hey, Maze, I just wanted to say thanks for having a chutzpah to speak out on the smaller situation. I know you took heat for it, but hey, man, we need somebody to do that. Believe it or not, I put my name on the ballot not on the ballot, but down as a write-in candidate for mayor. It may not happen this time, but hey, we got to do something about these 12,500 signatures and get this stuff moving so everybody has access to the ballot.
Come on, Robert. We need your vote for one of these candidates that can actually win. You just gonna write yourself in and just start voting away like that? We need that vote. Vote for Willie.
It ain't going. It's a protest.
Hey, man.
Yeah, I don't really see. None of these candidates. Willie Wilson is probably the best candidate that I see out here. But
Robert, I got to stop you there because I got to go to traffic, news, and the weather. But, y'all, when we come back, we're going to talk about the shrinking black middle class in Chicago. We'll be back.
Live from the WVON newsroom, here's...
Stop playing. We need
I'm going to tell you, nobody is excited. And I'm telling y'all, that is, you see all of that? All of that? All of that right there?
David.
Y'all don't want to hear me. It's like, so again, imagine when it's 2 black candidates. Mm-hmm. It's 6. Your vote, the black vote in this race is done. You can just put it over in the side. Mm-hmm. Right? And of that black, so now, with 6 black candidates, the black votes, the black people out the race. Because
we might end up with Latino in the runoff.
The Latino would be Chico.
So the text message the poll that was going out last night was 4 candidates: Mendoza, Parkwinkle, Vallis, and Daly. Whoever it was that was texting people last night, that's who they're thinking are in the top 4.
Who sent out the poll though?
I have no idea.
Right.
I got
that's
a
the
text
problem.
message and I saw a Facebook friend got the same.
So I'm saying that they don't there's really only a couple people that are text polling. Mm-hmm. They don't really text the traditional outlets are not text polling. So I can almost guess where that poll came from.
You think they might use that just to make you seem like your candidate is not even really in the top?
Well, I mean, I think that the challenge is with 14 people in the race. Mm-hmm. Just putting the top 4 in the thing doesn't give you a real answer because so if 5 people, so 14 minus it's 9. So if 9 people get 3% of the vote each, that's 27% of the vote.
I sent you the link to the next guest because our printer's not printing right now. You can open it up real quick.
So the one tech guy, he's not really.
But he can still pull votes. It's like so just like somebody who would write their name in.
Right.
He's a protest vote.
This ain't the time to be protest voting, y'all.
I mean, you say it, but.
This just ain't the time for that. To be protest voting.
So undecideds break to familiarity. So when I go in the polling place,
unfortunately, there can also be Preckwinkle.
But Preckwinkle is getting beat down, right? So again, you got to be in the top 2. Even if it is Preckwinkle is like right now. If I was anybody, I would want to take on Preckwinkle. You now have a whole body of work that you can spend $5 million just pounding her every day. Anti-Semitic. She hired. Toni Preckwinkle is a bad judge of character. She hired. Think about this. You ain't got to say a lot about Laquan. Her chief of staff, sexual harassment, she got caught lying. They got the video, the audio of it. Her chief, her security guard uses the truck. She ain't got no real answer for it.
The money from Ed Burke.
Ed Burke.
Right.
Then you take this Scott Cizik with the anti-Semitic and you put that on top of it.
Sugar tax.
I would be begging to run against her right now. Like, but you gotta have the money to drill the message.
Well, whoever ends up in the runoff, they're gonna get the money.
Not necessarily. That's not true.
Because people.
So if it was Tony and Willie, white business ain't going with Willie.
Willie has the best policies for them, lowering taxes and all that stuff, where Tony's gonna be raising taxes.
I'm telling you. Again,
You feel like they'll be like, there's no way.
I'm not tripping. All I'm saying is, you can't even say all the black people voting for Willie.
No, that's true.
So, I'm saying that you think racism is going away? She is about as white as you gonna get in that case.
Jewish last name.
Because can you imagine they saying we gotta holler at Ricky? I'm not tripping. I'm saying, I just think that we're ignoring the political realities. I'm saying, like, think about the gravity of the fact that the Crusader just endorsed Daley. Y'all want to pretend like the world don't work the way the world works. Y'all trying to act like these people wasn't here before and they ain't been here for 50 years and everybody ain't dead. And you all want to act like people, when they talk about this shrinking middle class, the shrinking middle class out of Chicago is us. When black people, say what you want, black people was on the plantation, they was happy, smiling, and doing their thing. And really, the people that were the most upset with Daley are like, I don't think that most people get into the police situation. They don't, they be like, if I ain't the one getting shot, it ain't my kid. Not to say, because they also see their neighborhoods changing. And they see hoods and thugs and whatever. And like, say in the 18th Ward, them people over there are cops, fire, and police. They all black cops, fire, police. And guess what? They be like, get these little Negroes off my corner. But, so, you got a dichotomy of positions where it's like, we look at Laquan as the end-all, be-all, but then you got shootings all through. And I'm not saying what about black-on-black crime, but I'm saying a practical mug who's a homeowner is like, I want stability. Again, name a person who told you that they liked Mayor Daley, but he kept getting more and more and more black votes, and he beat black candidates handily. Now, yes, the number of people that voted went down, but it don't change the fact of who's the mayor. Everybody, like I was on a panel yesterday, and while a girl was saying, well, they shrank the number of people that voted. So I was like, well, then it should be easier for you to win.
Right.
So instead of having to convince to beat 3 million people, you just got 1.3 million. Now you just got to beat 300,000. But you don't want to organize for that. What you want to do is have a law that says instead of black people getting together and organizing themselves and voting their best interests, I'd rather put term limits in. No, do the work.
Yeah.
What happened to the work you put in all them years ago? Oh, Tennille, your girl tried to come for me yesterday. I had to do it. Give in just enough for the city. just enough for the city. You are tuned in to the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Mace Jackson. Sitting in with me is Miss Jasmine Turner. And Jasmine,
What's up?
did you know Chicago used to be home to one of the largest middle classes in America? Particularly, I always used to think about the black middle class here in Chicago was probably the example around the world.
What changed that though?
There's a variety of factors that changed it, from jobs, election, housing, all types of factors. But you know what? Here to talk to us about it is Janet Smith. Now, Janet is the co-director of the Natalie P. Voorhees Center for Neighborhood and Community Improvement at the University of Illinois at Chicago. Janet, welcome to the WVON Morning Show. How are you today?
Thank you. I'm beautiful. Thank you. How are you doing?
All right. I'm great. I feel beautiful, too. It's such a beautiful day outside. So, Janet, talk to me. You and WBZ have released a study, and it says that the middle class is shrinking everywhere, but in Chicago, it's almost gone. What happened?
Yes. Well, I'll say, first of all, I want to thank Linda Lutton from WBEZ for bringing to light all the data that we've been working on for the last 6 months to really sort of track what's changed since 1970 to the current time in Chicago. What you see happening is not unusual for other cities as well. I heard your intro talking about the middle class. A lot of cities used to have a strong middle class. What's changed over time is a lot of things that you mentioned at the beginning: a change of jobs, change of housing, change of policy. And so what we see is the shrinking of the middle class. Many people, middle class families, have left the city, have moved out to the suburbs in search of more affordable housing, better schools, and also jobs have relocated. But jobs have changed, too. In the city, we used to have manufacturing jobs. We had good union-paying jobs. What you see now is a split. You have a lot of high-paying jobs, people working in high-paying services like legal and medical, and then a lot of low-paying jobs like services and retail and working at fast food. And so you don't have a lot of middle-income jobs even in the city anymore.
And so so talk to me about the dichotomy. The middle class went to the suburbs, and what did they find in the suburbs? And so what does that mean for a city? Once the middle class leaves, what does that mean for the city?
Well, one of the things that's striking in our data and the analysis that we did is that we find, and again, this is typical around the country, but what you find is cities don't have families with kids anymore. So Chicago has less than 25% of its families have kids under the age of 18. So you have a lot of people like my husband and I, which are double income, no kids, or dinks as we're called. You have a lot of people who are single, and you have older couples with no children because they're empty nesters. But what we don't see is families, and it raises a lot of questions of what our cities are going to look like in the future. We see it playing out in our school system, for example. Chicago Public Schools has seen a dramatic drop in public school attendance. It raises questions about investment in that kind of infrastructure. It raises questions about what kind of housing we should have in our city and what kind of city do we want to be. There's a lot of talk by elected officials about the middle income, and it's like, well, we're paying attention, right? It's the mayoral race coming up, and we pay attention, like, who are you talking about? And I want to add one more thing that I think is really important, and we know Chicago has a long history of racial segregation. It's also class and income segregation. So when we look at what is in our maps, the areas that have lower income families, what you see are lower income communities. What we see there is mostly lower income families. That's where most of our families are living, in the lower income areas, and they are mostly people of color, and also that's where we see our older population. So the higher incomes are increasingly white, smaller families if they have families, and younger.
Now, can you help me understand give me the designation of middle class? Because that is something that is always confusing. Everybody thinks that. I don't think anybody considers themselves lower class, right?
Absolutely, right.
And so, Sonia, put your hand down. So define what middle class is income-wise.
Right. So for us, we're being very narrow. We're talking just about income. Class comes with a lot of other sort of connotations to it, right? Aspirations, the image of a single-family home, white picket fence, kids going to college, and that has a lot more income required for it to be able to do those things. But when we talk about middle income, so we're just looking at the income levels. We're looking at per capita income, and we're looking at who's in the middle. In Chicago, the middle income, literally who's in the middle, is about $58,000 a year.
What? Wait, huh?
That's for a family of 4.
Whoa! Hold on. No. I want to be clear. You said that middle class is $58,000 for a family of 4?
Middle income, yeah.
Who made that number?
It's compared to
That comes from, that's just from the data. That's from the census. So the census asks people every year what your income is. Yeah.
So my question is, when we look at the minimum wage increase, how do you think that might affect middle class in Chicago?
Well, the hope is it'll help a lot of people around the state, right? Because it's raising it up for the state. Of course, it's going to take till 2025 till we see that. Right. But the idea is that raising up minimum wage is going to, well, in this case, it'll double by the time it gets up to 15, or nearly double what the income is. And what you see is it starts to raise people up. Now, I don't think it'll get you fully to what we call middle income right now in Chicago, but it'll get us a lot closer, and it'll start to raise up what people can afford. So we did an analysis, for example, of what happens if you raise minimum wage and people's ability to afford housing in Chicago. You see a significant increase in number of people who can afford their housing and then have more disposable income for other things.
You know, there are some concerns that, like, in cities like New York and LA, when they had the increase in minimum wage, the city just became more expensive, and then there was just a bigger gap between the very wealthy and then the very poor.
Mm-hmm. I would say that that's probably not true, meaning in the sense that the minimum wage going up didn't affect that. Actually, what we saw in both those cities is that housing prices and demand was increasing before that, so that when you have increasing demand for housing, prices go up. Okay, so just in terms of that. New York has been very expensive for a long time, by the way.
Yes.
This is not new because of minimum wage going up. And also, you know what? I mean, the thing about that is that people look at the data, and I would say, well, does your landlord know that your income went up? They don't. So, you know, they don't know that to raise your income. They look at the data overall, and there's market trends that might happen over time. But generally, we don't see that that's a case.
My goodness. Well, I'm still shocked at this $58,000 a year for a family.
That's your gross income, by the way. Remember,
gross.
There's a lot that doesn't come home.
Okay.
Remember, you pay taxes and things like that. That's what I mean.
So what is happening in this city? Is it seem like this literally means that there is a tale of two cities? Now, is this based on what's the racial dynamic of this?
So the racial dynamic is really clear. If you look at our maps, what you see is where the lower income families that is below the middle are living. They're primarily on the south side, southwest side, and the west side, and a little bit on the far north. But for the most part, they're in the areas that are historically identified as black and brown, or Latino and African American.
So what would be considered middle class for a single person that's not married without kids?
Divide that number by 4.
Yeah, so you'd go down lower in the income. I don't have that in front of me. I apologize, but you would go down lower, so maybe in the 40s. And you know, there's a whole other range of things to look at too. People talk about what it is to be self-sufficient, which is a kind of a loaded term. But
Janet,
we always try and.
Can I stop you right there? I'm sorry, I gotta stop you right there. I gotta go to traffic and weather, but hold on, because when we come back, we'll continue this conversation. It's the Talk of Chicago, and I am in shock. We'll be back.
More of the morning show with Maze Jackson coming up on the Talk of Chicago.
Those are old numbers.
No, that's really not. But I think the range for middle, it goes all the way up though to like 100K, and I think it drops as low as to like 30 something. Like the range is just as huge for middle class.
I felt way back when making that money in Oak Park, it meant nothing.
Yeah.
It meant my apartment was $1,100. It was nice, but and then I have all my other bills. 50 G's ain't shit. 58 ain't nothing. But thank God I was working at Mercantile Exchange where I was able to boost up my income. But I had to. I don't know where they getting that from. And how long ago was this?
That's about right.
A family of 4?
So everything I've seen, they say the middle class income ranges as low as like 30-something thousand all the way up to 100 and something thousand for a family of 4. That's how big the range is. But that median 58.
Okay. I'm gonna tell y'all. Man, well, you know what though? Check this out. When I first came back to Chicago, I was making sandwiches at Wall Street Deli, and I was making $45,000 a year. I lived in Hyde Park.
Making sandwiches?
I was the manager. I was the store manager. Actually, that was like my goal was to actually go into restaurant management. So I like was in that McDonald's, Burger King. Like I actually when I was in college managed a $2 million a year Burger King. It was like one of the most populous ones in downstate Illinois. And that's why I wanted to make my space, right? But I remember when I wanted to be in radio, I got a job at V103 as a promotions assistant, and I went from $45,000 a year to $18,000. And let me tell you,
$18,000 a year?
you want to talk about a hustling. I had these side hustles, and then I turned that job though. Like by the time I was through, I had the promotions van, and I didn't have to. Man, let me tell you what. There was V103 promotions everywhere. I'd be like, y'all be on 87th Street. People like, we saw the V103 van and superstar Maze Jackson. I'd be like, yes, you don't know me, I'm Maze Jackson. I remember when I got my job at Coke, I was like, wait a minute. And I was getting ready, I was going to be the director of urban marketing for Coke.
Now that has to have been an amazing job.
Well, I made it an amazing job because I was at
Coke pays.
Well, I was at their, so Coke nationally pays. Coke locally was owned by a local distributor, a local billionaire, Marvin Herb. And so he owned the Coca-Cola bottling company of Chicago, Chicago, Indiana, and Wisconsin.
Great Lakes.
And so it's Great Lakes now, but before it was the Herb Group, and the Great Lakes is now a much expanded territory. Okay. He sold it all back to Coke. But I remember not wanting to leave to take the job at Coke because by the time I got through putting everything together at V, like I could come to work at 10 o'clock, I would be on the beach all day. Pleasure, and I was getting chopped. Right? And at that point, I could go to every concert, but then when I became, and then I thought that how
was that $18,000 working for you?
He was side hustling.
Let me back up. My rent was $600 at the time. So I think my check was like, it was tough. It was tough. Right? Mm-hmm. But boy, I'm going to tell you, then that's why I was, yesterday y'all was asking me about how I knew about all that other stuff.
Why is that?
Why I'm concerned about the small dealer, $600 investment, boy. Save your life. Job it, shove it. I ain't working here no more. Doom, doom, doom. Doom, 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 doom. You are tuned in to Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm sitting in with my girl Jasmine Turner, and we are talking to Janet Smith. Janet is the co-director of the Natalie P. Voorhees Center for Neighborhood and Community Improvement at UIC. Not to be confused with U of C, at UIC. And Janet, so talk to me about how this middle class situation it impacts black folks. Where do black people that are middle class go now?
We've been looking at the change, and if you remember 2010, when the U.S. Census came out, maybe you don't, but many people talked about the fact that we had been gaining in population in Chicago, and in 2010, suddenly we lost 200,000 people.
What happened in 2010?
Well, when we looked at that data, out of the 200,000 people, 180,000 were African American.
Wow.
And of that, also, most of those were young people. So what we saw was not just young people leaving, we saw families leaving. And so we started thinking that the data shows that we did see a loss of lower income black families, but we also saw middle income black families. Now, where they go, it's hard for us to trace with that data, but anecdotally, we could see what was happening in terms of shifts in the population in the southern suburbs of Chicago, which have historically been more mixed race and African American. But also across the country, there was a shift where there was a migration literally from the north to the south of people. So a couple things were happening there that we think were contributing to the decrease. And we're continuing to see a loss of African Americans in the city of Chicago since 2010.
Ms. Smith, so the numbers that you gave us, because we're still trying to figure out how a family of four can live off of $58,000 in Chicago. Is that a national middle class number? Or is that?
It's close to it. Yeah, the city middle income. Yeah, the cities are not that far off from the national data. I don't have that in front of me right now, but the region, our region in general, has always been kind of pacing itself with the national. So we're not like a New York City, which is much more higher. Mm-hmm. But, it's a real good question. But think about it this. Right now at minimum wage, you're earning like $20,000 if you're lucky to have a full-time job. Think about how you live in Chicago and how you can afford housing without some sort of assistance. It's staggering for me to think about how people can live on that.
So basically middle class likely uses assistance in Chicago.
Not necessarily. No, not necessarily. Actually, when you start to look at people, the incomes, when you go up, most people who are like receiving like public assistance for housing, for example, are very low income. But they could qualify if you're in the middle now, the way it works. You could actually qualify for federal assistance for some housing. So there is some assistance. I would say that you find it more through tax breaks and things like that are helping the middle class. And even that's gone away, right? We saw that happen with the tax law changes.
My goodness. So as this middle class continues to decline and go away, what are you projecting for the future? Is there a way to come back? Is there a way to bring the middle class back?
Yeah, let's talk about that. I think what we have to think about is what are our policies going to look like in the future? What can they do to help either reduce the loss of the middle class or increase the number of people in the middle class? So I do a lot of research on housing. So we look at affordability. Right now, Chicago is not that affordable, especially for rental housing. So what do we do to provide subsidies and or require affordable housing in the development that's happening? So right now, downtown has not added a lot of affordable housing in its new development, but there are policies that are on the books that require like a 10% or
It's actually 20. It's actually now 20% on site, I thought.
Right, downtown, right. So it depends on where you're at. We could actually increase, some people would argue, without it impacting development, but also adding more affordable housing. And some aldermen are more effective at doing that and pushing it in their communities. I would say that also we have to start thinking about the wages, right? So we're talking about raising minimum wage. So that will be an improvement for people. We also have to think about just like what kind of jobs we actually have in our city. So most of our jobs are not of the manufacturing type that actually helps have a sustainable middle class. The union jobs that we used to have that assured people got, good wages for their work and also got cost of living increases.
Janet,
so there's a lot of things that we have to start looking at in terms of either bringing back or pushing forward in future policies.
So Janet, one of the things that you mentioned, affordable housing. I am a lobbyist and I do a lot of lobbying for developers. And one of the things that they always say is, we don't want that affordable because it's going to bring those people. And my good friend Tamiko Holt, who is actually the president of West Center for the Black People, says when we talk about affordable housing, affordable for who? Right? Because it's based on a different model, right? Where they base the income based on a dual income, a two-family household, etc. What are we doing to address those issues, and what can we do to take the stigma away from affordable housing? Because when people think affordable housing, they think projects. They think of rebuilding what we tore down. How do we shift that dynamic? Because affordable is for teachers, it's for fire, etc. But when I talk to my clients about affordable housing, the first thing they say is, "Oh, we don't want those people there."
Mm-hmm. Well, you just named off a lot of people that the first thing I do when I talk about affordable housing is ask who needs it. And so what you see is a lot of people who need it are not necessarily getting it. And those are the people you just listed off, the teachers, for example. So to live in Chicago and teach in Chicago at Chicago Public Schools, you have to have housing that people can afford. And I know like the Chicago Teachers Union right now is talking about this in their new contract negotiations, like how to make sure that this is not what wages are, but what people actually can afford to live in the communities where they teach, right? So we have to look at it that way. It's grandmothers. I mean, I love to build that one because it's like, you know, older people on fixed income, how can they stay in Chicago without some sort of subsidy or some affordability provided in the housing we're developed? So I think we have to really look at who needs it and start to think about that. But also there's new models. You know, the redevelopment of public housing across this country is producing what we call mixed income communities. And so while we need, I would argue we need more affordable housing in that mix, what we're doing now is we're trying to have a mix of people so people start to understand each other and start to live together and not have that stigma.
So Janet, you know, one of the things that we're gonna continue this housing series, or the series as it relates to the housing component of it.
Excellent.
But one of the things that I am very concerned about is oftentimes the conversation about affordable housing. The picture in people's minds is black people and poor black people, but the people that are at the forefront of setting the policy are white people who are not necessarily looking out for our interests, but using us as the, you know, kind of like as the shield, while they then create opportunities. We get stuck in the south side and the west side, and then they use affordable housing in the downtown luxury high rises. So we're going to talk about all of that, but we got to go now. WVON family was Janet Smith. She's the co-director of Natalie P. Voorhees Center for Neighborhood and Community Improvement at the University of Illinois at Chicago. Not to be confused with U of C. Janet, thank you very much for being with us. We'll have you back at some time in the near future.
I'd love it. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Have a great day. We'll be back after traffic, news, and the weather with Q from 112. Only you. Okay, I tried.
Chicago, and the voice of the nation is 1690 WVON, Berwyn, Chicago.
Common endorsed Michelle Harris. I got you, Miko. Gotta set it up.
Coming the rapper?
You gotta put it on the glass first. You know I'm setting it up for the slam. Gotcha. All right, y'all, take a moment to share the broadcast. All right, what y'all know about doom, 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 doom. Man, the Asians are getting all type of low. They done took over Prairie Shores. They get the low income hookup. They getting all of the assistance. Man, I showed y'all that video. I walked outside of my office on 28th at Michigan, and can I tell you, every Saturday they be lined up for the good food. They don't be getting like.
Because you know who caters to them?
Who?
28th in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
That's their award.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
She caters to them. NTA had a lot to do with trying to please them.
The Asians be lined up right outside my office. They by that church on Saturdays. It's like they be like 1,000 of them. They be pulling up in range. Yeah, this was so crazy. We think crazy of affordable and food programs and all that. Them Asians be rolling up in Range Rovers, Lexuses, all that. Get right in line with they Canada Goose. Now I don't know if they Canadas be knocked off, cause you know it's too. Somebody. Well, let me just tell you, no, it's not. But you know what? A lot of Asians that are here are rich as hell.
Yep. Because also, one, Chinatown is inexpensive to live, but they won't let you move there if you're not Chinese. But the prices aren't really high.
And if you won't move to Chinatown, the problem is living in Chinatown is, man. Well, let me just say.
It's like little China. I mean, it's
Chinatown, right? Real talk. Chinatown, and they don't even have ads in English.
Right.
You can't even find an apartment in Chinatown.
Right. I know one black person that used to live over there, and he was like, would go into the restaurants and
Indians are Asians.
Indians are Asians. Yeah.
Brother Patizzle. Did anybody tell me what was happening with Minister Farrakhan? What's he doing?
Saluting the 90s at City Winery.
When?
You see it on there?
March 14th?
Mm-hmm.
I need some tickets to this.
Y'all preparing for, I know it's far out, but All-Star Weekend 2020, you going to have an amazing week on that show page.
I'm telling them I want credentials. I want to be broadcasting live, and I want to be part of all the stuff. I want to be part of all the activities. But shoot, I might take over my courtyard and turn it into. I might put a tent in our courtyard and make it the have like, cause I'm literally a block and a half from UC, and be like, yo, tell everybody they could put their whips, park on the block,
And just have something over there.
huh? Yeah. Oh no, and man, please, we about to run. Was that Celine? We about to run through. Come on, the All-Star game in 27. It's in the 27th ward.
Oh, that's your boy.
Don't he? Well, I got a list of every one of y'all that talked about my dog
I
too.
didn't. I ain't say nothing.
I be like, cause I'm gonna tell you how it goes. Everybody be, Alderman Burnett, remember I had luck? No, dog. Look, we gonna be having young people working. We gonna have our kids working on the young black kids working the NBA stuff. They gonna get their little. Man, I'm gonna tell y'all what. All-Star Weekend is gonna be big for kids on the West Side. Like if you, man, that's gonna. Let me tell you what.
I'm surprised you ain't Airbnb your spot out. You can make so much money that weekend.
Did you see that Airbnb with them people? First of all, I did say that to Carrie, but I'll be honest with you. I don't want nobody naked ass on my sheets.
Yeah.
It's like I don't.
But you put
Hey, y'all.
Salim Muakil, come on in, man. Say what's up. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's
Look,
up, brother?
Salim been
Hey,
beating
y'all.
me up. Salim, so I gotta ask you, man.
What's that, man?
I know you in the Hyde Park Mafia, sort of.
Yes, sir.
How you feel? How do you feel the anti-Semitic post will impact in the bastion, University of Chicago bastion of the Jewish power struggle?
I think it's good, because it opens up the debate. What constitutes anti-Semitism? What is it?
Anything, if you say Jewish and it ain't, we love you, your ass is going down.
No, we need to interrogate that.
You see what happened to old girl, right?
Yeah, I did.
Look, hey, bro.
But you see what happened to Angela Davis. They tried to get her with that.
Yeah.
But there was
Are we trying to put Tony Brackwinkle and Angela Davis together?
No. I'm just saying. We got to moderate that kind of charge. In Birmingham, right? They reacted against that very strongly.
Well, I think that
They
is.
still ended up inviting her back.
They did,
later.
and she had a big celebration after that.
I think that we should always. I feel like we should be able to defend ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, but I'm not defending Scott Sizek. I just thought it was a.
It's ironic.
Right, exactly, and I think that for all of. So you, man. Anyway,
Yeah. All right,
so
let me see y'all, huh?
do your thing.
All right.
So Lee, what you recording?
Yeah, I'm recording.
Oh,
Okay.
come in and sit down, man.
Huh?
When you through, come in and sit down. That's Salim Muwakil. Come on now. Salim literally wrote the book on Harold Washington. 112's Q Parker salutes the 90s at City Winery.
Peaches and cream. Yeah, 'cause you know that I'm a freak.
My favorite moment was when I know you got 112, but so what you gonna do? Only You? Jesus, the notes, or you gonna do Missing You? Do the Only You remix, but then I'm gonna talk about the time when they did the Missing You from MTV. So find that part too, because I want that to come in. So I'm gonna. Who's tagline? Ready? We're only doing one segment.
I don't know how I missed this opportunity. Come on, let me do it. All right. That sounds like you. Oh.
Salim!
Morning Show. Call 773-591-1690.
That we won't stop. I thought I told you that we won't stop. Jesus, the notorious, just please us with your lyrical thesis. We just chillin', milk 'em, top billin', silkin' pure linen, me and little C's, Malibu sea breeze, dawn peas and palm trees, cats named Pablo and milked out Diablos, the williest, bitches be the silliest, the more I smoke, the smaller the Philly gets, room 112, where the players dwell, and cats from them shit there, inhale, make it feel good like Tony, think up in your middle like Moni. She don't know me cause she's setting up to blow me. Gun spotter, player, stay splurging, game so tight they call me Virgin. Oh, I need to know where we stand when we share this special thing called love. I know I do, but what about you? I need you in my life. Where do I go? What do I do if I can't live without you, girl? Thinking of you makes me feel like I'm the only one for. You are tuned into the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I am the host of the WVON Morning Show, and psych! You mean to tell me y'all have me all pumped up to talk to Q from 112 and hand call in? You know how them brothers do though. You know them artists from the 90s, they be sleeping a little late. Somebody better get them on the phone though, because you know I'll be talking smack. We're going to have them a welcoming committee. We're going to be sitting right outside the city winery on Thursday, March 14th, talk about some yo Q. Did you stand me up, dog? Right. You played the WVON Morning Show audience. Don't have me come over there. Y'all know what happened to Biggie, right?
What happened to Biggie?
Okay, he probably. Hey man, we looking for Q, but you know what? While we're here, I'm gonna go back to this conversation of the black middle class. What happened to the black middle class? You know, I think of, you know, I always talk about the projects. And I always hear people talk about when the projects got torn down, then that destroyed the black middle class. Mm-hmm. They said that, you know, yesterday, as a matter of fact, when I was on the panel, the panelist, Delmarie Cobb, said that the people who were from the housing projects, and I'm summarizing, the people from the housing projects were released into the neighborhoods, into middle class neighborhoods, but did not have the common. They learned and they grew up differently. Right. And so everything was common property, and so it kind of brought the communities down. I think about people saying that the destruction of the housing projects led to more violence, but also led to, again, messing up the regular neighborhoods. I hear that from a lot of people who lived in the neighborhoods before.
I mean, there's some truth to that.
But I guess my question becomes, so did we do it to ourselves? You know, because I need help. Because, no, seriously, I never lived in public housing, right? I used to drive down the expressway and see Robert Taylor and be like, we are not going there. Right. Do not go there. Do not stop. And then I remember being with my friends, and they'd be like, come on, man, let's go to the hole. And I'd be like, the hole? Why do I want to go to the hole?
Did you ever go? I never lived in public housing.
Well, I mean, I think when I tried to get tough, you know. And then when I started doing urban marketing, then I would go to those locations, right? I would go to Robert Taylor, and then I would realize that they weren't as scary as people told them to be. Not to say that nothing happened. So sometimes I feel like, and then when people say, well, the transformation was what happened, did we want to keep the project? Help me understand what happened.
I think the projects were torn down, but it wasn't done responsibly. Like, I don't feel like the people who made the decisions to make those transitions were aware of everything that was going on in public housing. So they didn't know enough information about the gangs and the groups that they were a part of, and how putting enemies next to each other in a neighborhood might cause more violence, whereas in this one particular housing project, they all knew each other, they all tended to be on the same team in comparison to just saying, okay, we're going to tear it down, and now we're going to put you next to your enemy.
That's interesting. You know, so, you know what? But then every summer I'm at the project, at the reunions, right? The Icky's reunion. You go to the Robert Taylor reunion. You go to the Henry Horner reunion. Cabrini Green, they got a reunion every dang on Monday night. And it seems like it's a communal time and place. And I don't understand. So with this,
I remember when I first moved to Chicago, like the one place people told me not to go to was Cabrini Green. Now, I had a friend move from Alabama. We kind of grew up in the same area. He never came to the South Side or West Side because, like, when he moved here for his corporate job, non-black people told him never go to the South Side or West Side. So the couple of years he lived in Chicago, I could never get him to come to the South Side or West Side.
see, man. So what happened to the black middle class, y'all? Where did it go?
Moved to the South Suburbs.
And then got jammed up out there.
Well, now because they're moving.
And so the white folks moved back. Hey, y'all give us a call, 773-591-1690. Let's go to Tyrone. Tyrone, you want to talk Chicago 1690?
Man, I'm about to answer that question for you.
Talk to me.
I wrote a book years ago called Robert Taylor Coup d'etat, How They Overthrew the Black Votes in the City of Chicago. Being a former resident of Robert Taylor homes, and also shouts out to Janet Smith, my former teacher at UIC Great Cities. What they did was, at the same time, you had Rahm Emanuel in the White House with Bill Daley, the Secretary of Commerce, who decided to do the NAFTA Free Trade Agreement. Now, during the North America Free Trade Agreement, they pushed all of the middle-class black earning citizens and made them working-class black poor. While at the same time they was putting black folks out of public housing, they was taking the black middle class out of the working, paying jobs of $58,000 or more. Because when they did that, then it caused a stir up because folks had to move around. They had new folks coming to their neighborhoods. And you had Bill Daley and Rahm Emanuel and Richard Daley sitting back planning how they was going to push us all the way out and get rid of us. And then they were going to bring in the Mexicans. Now, let's just face reality. The future policy should show a black mayor who can bring our folks back and put them back in position like they were before.
I heard that. Thank you. Thank you, Tamiko. Right, because, you know, Tony going to push y'all straight on up out this mud. Let's go to the phone lines. Tamiko, you want to talk Chicago 1690?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. How are you? Is that Tamiko Holt, the president of What's in It for the Black People?
Here is.
All right. You know what? She is also a specialty. She is a specialist in our pillars. She deals with housing as well. Tamiko, talk to me. Help me understand. What am I missing?
So I listened to all of these conversations concerning, what public housing produced. Yes, a lot of it is true. So I will not pretty much skate over what really happened to the communities after you tore down public housing. But the fact of the matter is nobody is wanting to talk about the root of the problem or psychological mistreatment that was made to living in public housing. Everybody watched. The politicians, the community so-called leadership, all of them watched, and they let it and allowed it to keep happening and fester until you see generations of what you see today. And the only thing they was concerned back then was misusing our voting block, okay? And that's the only thing they miss now. Because when they tore down them buildings, you tore down a powerful voting block, even though you was misleading us and mistreating us.
Oh, we.
Now, you want to talk about it? Let's talk about it.
So, what do we do now?
What we do now is get back to the root of the problem. A lot of our people that we cannot say, but that don't stop us from trying, but we have to deal with our 5-year-olds that are being raised in these households where we can't even use the word normal, because normal to who? Where we grew up at, everything you see today was normal behavior, and nobody said anything. The resources that were supposed to be used in the communities at that time in those public houses, it was being sold. Trillions of dollars was sold. I think that's billions of dollars was sold. But nobody wants to talk about that because everybody had their head in the pot.
Right.
If everything was going like it was supposed to, because public housing was meant to be temporary in the beginning. But they were stealing the resources, they were stealing the money for the resources that was made to pretty much help families to pretty much move out on their own, what they call
problems, okay? Because aspiring to go live in a single-family home is not true family self-sufficiency. It's not family self-sufficiency. It's trying to build generational wealth. Okay?
Hold on, because you know what? That is Tamiko Holt. She is the president of What's in It for the Black People. You know what? And on that note, Sonia, Tamiko, we appreciate you. Now, our president is black, y'all. Our president is black. It's the WVON Morning Show. We'll be back at the traffic news and the weather. Go on, Miko. She put it down.
She was ready. She called
Hey, let me tell you what.
I mean, I never lived in I can't speak on it.
She is so passionate about it, and she's so on top of it about what goes. It's so crazy because I feel like it's a few people that I have met who have come from public housing. Like, I only know public housing from what I heard.
Right.
And then when I was on some negative part,
You was grinding.
then I was part of the negative component of what was happening.
Yeah.
And we thought it was, but I could leave. I got to go home at night. Everybody else they went upstairs. I went to Bolingbrook or to the crib. Man, but we got to talk about it because the housing, it is a racket. And what she was talking about is the fact that these white people, it is a racket. And it's these white people.
Morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hello. These white people.
What are all these chairs in here?
They were like this.
They must have had a party last night.
So, like I was saying, I think that, come on, man, you be interrupting my joint.
It was literally all over your face. I'm like, oh shit, let me go.
I mean, come on, man, you can't be, I mean, I'm saying, let me stop.
Man, literally, your face, like your face was literally like, it was all, I was like, oh shit, let me pay attention to the comments over here, like, you probably was like,
let me stop. You know what?
it's a team, you know?
Same no. You gotta teach that to everybody. Everybody don't learn that.
True.
So that's why Tamiko put me up on. I learned this real time though, but she pulled me up to it. I didn't realize what's happening. So when y'all heard the end of the consent decree about CHA public housing, and they were saying that it was no longer discriminatory, and now what you see is the white housing advocates are trying to move into the affordable game. So there was a white law firm put up a lawsuit over discrimination over in public housing. That white law firm got paid millions of dollars
So
for
they were saying that white people weren't able.
They were saying black people were being discriminated against.
And the
So they
white
prop,
law firm-
and the white law firm says, "Ooh, we can do a lawsuit on this."
They got
All this stuff is a bummer. She's getting on the line now with Q.
Who is she?
It's PR.
It's done. I'm not.
You know what?
Fuck him.
Okay.
You don't book it and then play me,
Okay.
right? Like, no, nobody trying to.
Then-
Like, he got a show, and it'll do fine. So, no, I'm done. I'll move on. Don't make me make my mind work a different way and then be like, oh, now I'm good.
Okay.
Did she book it? Who was the publicist?
Silverman Group.
Silverman Group got to put their people on.
Okay. Now and not that we got about 7 more minutes, but my Sam Cook person's not answering his phone.
Okay, so then I'm going back to.
But there's some stuff in the news that just popped up on the printout for you right quick.
Oh man, I was gonna ask you, do you use a third-party platform for your?
No, not yet. I mean, I have some that I'm getting ready to start testing, but no, not right now.
So the reason why I asked is because with Black Doctor they use one, and like the views be almost 2 to 3 times the amount that we see on here. So like, from what she'll send me the screenshots of, like it'll be like, oh, 9,000 views, whatever. But in real life it'd be like 25,000 views. So that can be something that you can use to.
Black Doctor.
BlackDoctor.org. When I do Facebook Lives and stuff with them. I write for them too, but I do Facebook Lives on like dating, related stuff. And so the third party platform they use actually counts like the views and is a more realistic number, and it'd be like 2 to 3 times the amount that Facebook is showing. And I'm just saying for the advertisers,
okay,
that's what they're using, those type of
tools.
Yeah.
You are tuned in to Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Sitting in with me is Miss Jasmine Turner, and we are talking the erosion of the black middle class. Where did the black people go? Do we still even have a black middle class? The fact that she said that $58,000 is the median income for 4 people, I was like, good Lord.
Where did you live in Chicago like that?
Well, I think you could live. It's just.
Because you need, like, if you have 2 kids, 2 parents, that's a 3-bedroom home, right? Where could you get a 3-bedroom home and have a $58,000 income?
Man, I'm going to tell you. I just think, man, I don't know, y'all. I'm telling you, this is a really crazy situation. It seems like the city, okay. So sometimes from my perspective, it seems like the city is blowing up. Like truly like off the chain. And then I get a report like this and I'm like, whoa, but I do see less black people. Let's go to the phone line. Sean, you want to talk Chicago 1690?
Yes, they knew exactly what they were doing when they did what they did. When they closed down Robert Taylor and Ida B. Wells and all those stateway gardens, you can go on and on. When they did that, they knew exactly what they were doing when they sent all those people to these neighborhoods, because they didn't put a cap on how many people go to these neighborhoods like they do when they're going to white communities. When they're going to white communities, to put a cap on how many people can move into those. They'll say that they can't move into them after a certain amount of people have moved in there. But they didn't do that with black neighborhoods because they knew it was more black people that were in these projects, and they just sent them to our neighborhoods without a cap. And they just took over the neighborhoods and ran people out that had been living there and had money, in their neighborhoods and were investing in their neighborhoods. And then they put a whole bunch of renters in our neighborhoods. And one more thing I want to say is when that happened, they knew what they were doing, because when you move it downtown into these buildings, they have a cap on how many people can move into these buildings downtown and all of that.
So who establishes the cap, though? Who established the cap? I feel like a lot of times.
CHA.
Okay. What does the neighborhood have to do with it, though? What do you say? What does your neighborhood say? Karen, you want to talk Chicago 1690?
Well, good morning, King.
Good morning,
How are
sister.
you? Listen, just like the last 2 ladies said, a community is a place of resources. And even though the projects and all that was up, it was a place of resources. We work together. Anytime they see us working together, growing together, they're going to dismantle it. Yeah, a couple of people might be making good money, but back then, a bunch of us made good money because we looked out for each other. So anytime that they see that we're rising together, coming together as one, they dismantle it. But whoa, their time is up. That's why Dr. Willie Wilson will be the mayor of Chicago. Love you and have a great day.
Hey. All right, let's go to the phone line. Charles, you want to talk Chicago?
Hey, Maze, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Talk to me, brother.
We still got opportunities, Maze, despite what happened to us in the past. If we get rid of all these foreigners in our community, Asians, Arabs, and whatnot, and take over these small businesses we can create an economy for ourselves, and we could use that to generate prosperity in our people, because there's billions of dollars being taken out of our community every day or every year or whatever, and we are sitting here wondering what we're supposed to do next.
Right,
So,
we have to open more than just restaurants, because Black people do have business in the community, but restaurants, there are other ones like gas stations.
right, we got everything here in our community, but other people are running it.
Right.
And I agree with you on that, Charles. You know, it seems to me, yesterday, I had a brother pull me to the side and he said, Maze, I really love the show. But it seems like you talk a lot about white people. Like, what are white people doing? White
Do
people
we
do.
really? I don't think so.
I do. I think part of my discussion of white people, though, is to help Black people overcome their white phobia. Right? When Black people get around white folks, then they'll talk about you. They won't talk about them. They'll whisper, Black people. If they don't say African American, they'll say African American loud. They scared to say Black loud. And so part of what I feel like, because I feel like so many times Black people did not grow up around white folks,
Right.
so they get kind of intimidated when they get around. They'll whoop you up, but they won't say nothing. So I feel like part of what I do is to help Black folks understand they ain't no more better than you. I grew up with them, and quite frankly, in a lot of cases, we smarter. Not smarter, but we can compete on an equal level at a minimum.
When given the same opportunity.
But I do think we focus on there's not an Irish liquor store in our community. There's not.
Right.
There's not an Irish hair care weave shop in our neighborhood.
Well, because the Irish can make money off their own people. What happens is all those really small communities knew that, they don't have a community large enough to build an economy on themselves. So they all came to the Black community. Everybody else that has enough people to make money off their own people tend to stay with their people.
I mean, but if you go over to Bridgeview and Bridgeport, all those guys, they got corners, they got their stuff going on in their neighborhoods too.
Mm-hmm.
I think we really, I think that Black folks enjoy they did it to us. I think there's a part of us that enjoys martyrdom. We'll talk about it. Well, actually, we're going to talk about Sam Cooke when we come back. Remastered. The two killings of Sam Cooke. I'm going to tell y'all need to check that out. It's off the chain. We'll talk about it with the producers when we come back.
Live from the WVON.
You called in. I was like, Keith, we can't take it. So you called in too late. We got another show to do.
Right.
We got more guests to do.
Right.
And,
Too famous for a motherfucker?
Right. Yeah, when he said top of the day or some shit. He said when I asked the phone, I'm like, excuse me.
When you hung up, he
No,
said?
when I answered, he was like top of the day or something.
Oh,
like that.
nah, it's not top of the day, fool.
What are you talking about?
When you want to be missing,
You don't do
Nah, they coming back. All the 90s is coming back.
So, do you want him back or no?
We can talk to him a different day.
All right, you want
talk to him.
because it's not until
It's till March 14th. I actually want to go to the show. I think it could be a good show.
Okay.
So let's talk to them because they're probably
What's the show?
It's just the 90s review.
Yeah.
All of 112?
No, it's probably gonna be people singing their own. One person from each group singing the songs that you like.
All right, we
Just give them next week or something. I mean, I want maybe like a next Friday, right? Like Fridays, I like where I want to be fun and entertaining.
Alright, cool. Alright, I can't wait to see Sam Cooke. Now, the only reason why I watched this is because I heard you and somebody else talk about it.
Man, I was watching it.
I never knew this man was that deep.
Nobody knew it.
No.
And then they got another one on that's on Channel 11 that was looking even deeper.
For Sam Cooke?
Yep.
Oh
I take the last
But you
night.
know the other part of that story that I think we also gotta be mindful of is how your vices will be the one thing to take you out. Like you had all these amazing things going on, but you hadn't controlled that part of you that just needed the different women, and that's what took you out.
Nah, that's not what took him out. That ain't what took him out. That ain't what took him out. Because if they wanted to kill him, they was gonna kill him. It's like, do you know men have had women and extra women?
Had he not been with that chick?
He was supposed to die. They were gonna kill him. That was the setup for that day. It's like if you supposed to go, you going. If they have decided they're gonna kill you, so if he wouldn't have went with her, are you suggesting that there wouldn't have been another day that they couldn't have just did it to him?
We don't know.
Exactly. That's my point. My point is that dude decided he was disrupting the power structure, and they were like, he has to go. Here's plan A. Did you ever see Final Destination? You know how you supposed to die, you gonna die? You made it. No, you did. And I'm just saying that if they don't get you on the first one, they get you on the other one. Right? And it's like, your vices, to pretend like no one has vices in the world, or to say that because you have a vice.
No, I think you should get in control of your vices, especially when you were out there at that level.
But how are you saying he wasn't in control of his vice? Because he went with a chick? Because he was a superstar and every day he could have a different chick and he exercised it and today was a different one? He was in control. You never in control, really. Because anybody, your best friend could turn on you and set you up, depending on how much money it was. So you say no friends? Because most people that get set up, most people that I've seen get set up in the real world got set up by a chick or by someone that they knew and the chick was part of the plot of some dude who had the money.
But they used that chick because they knew that was one of his weaknesses. Other people have different types of weaknesses, gambling, drugs, or whatever.
How about some people just love their families and get killed?
That still happened to Malcolm X.
Okay. And so, again, what vice was Malcolm X exercising that got him?
No, I think, but I'm just saying, like...
No, that sounds great. That sounds great for a matchmaker who wants to ensure that... No, I'm saying, and it sounds great for a woman who says, yo, that's what... No, what got him was this fool, it wasn't his vice. It was his love for his people, power, and the white folks saying, this nigga ain't finna be special and mess up my money. And whether it was they killed him in a plane crash, or a brake line, that was just the most convenient way to do it that made you say, man, if he wouldn't have been messing with that chick, like he brought it on himself. No, they was gonna kill him.
I won't say he brought it on himself, but I think that you gotta, when you know you out here, speaking against the powers that be, you gotta be careful about the moves that you make. Just like even in Chicago, right? So if somebody tries to go real hard up against one of these Madigan, let's say for example, you can't be out here slipping in ways where people can get to you because you going up against a huge power that be.
And I'm saying that he in some cases, the way I took it was he wasn't necessarily going against the powers that be. He was just living for his own.
He was trying to break the industry.
But he wasn't trying to break the industry. He was trying to take care of himself and his people. He was like, he's in his self-contained bubble. Why I gotta pay him and why I gotta pay him? I'm gonna pay me. That was his own. And I don't think he was. I'm not saying that he didn't say black people couldn't be free, but I didn't take him as. I didn't take it like he went to people and was like, I'm finna fucking kill you. Y'all gonna kill me. I feel like he was like, I don't need you to do what I could do for myself.
Right.
And
he
that
was also waking up other black artists and showing them.
But again, he was doing it in his own work. He wasn't. I don't feel like he was like, okay.
Vanessa, that she's so right. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just feel like Sam Cooke was like, man, if I can make why do I need to pay your lawyer if I got my friend that's a lawyer? Why do I need to use your record press if I got the money to buy my own? So I don't think he was like necessarily going out to say, screw you. He was just like, man, I can make more money doing this. And when you think about white folks, like when they've made their profit off of us, they be like, nigga, you can't be free.
That's right.
And so it's like you running off the plantation, like, whoa, yo, he like, man, I didn't know I couldn't leave the plantation.
Right.
I didn't know there was certain things you couldn't talk about or Madigan was going to reach out.
You had your fight for Mike, you had your fight for Prince. All these people wanted to be released of their record companies because they know they're making money. They know they can do without them. And so that's what he tried to do. So here is the what you call it from...
Who's the person?
Here, Mark Anthony. This is him. This is him. He was on this documentary rather. Okay.
So all I'm saying is, I don't think that you are, when you have a calling or a chosenness, I don't think that makes you perfect.
No,
and I don't think that, and
I remember people gonna come for you.
Right, but at the same time, you're still human, and it's still like, do you stop living? Right? Like, so here's the thing. this is what, because essentially, I'm no way, shape, or form comparing that. But there was a point when I used to be like, I'm not going out. I'm not going out anymore. Because if I go out, this female lady is going to poke me and try and provoke me. Right? If I go here, and they did. And I'm saying, and Mary Flowers might walk up and punch me. And I might, every time I went somewhere, there was an assault. So I have to start saying, do I go out still? Or do I sit in the house and for a minute?
You just have to know that you're sensitive to whoever Mary Flowers is, and you might want to, if she hits you or you.
And if I'm at the King breakfast.
But you got to prepare for that because you already know she going to come.
And I'm saying, but at this, I'm going to, I don't plan my life around other people. I'm going to do me, and I'm going to plan, but I don't build my life around other people.
Sam Cooke might be the most dangerous to you because he's already in white American living rooms.
This very mysterious death, what happened and why was he there and who was this woman, and all those become bigger questions than what was he on the edge of achieving.
You are tuned in to the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Sitting there with me is Miss Jasmine Turner. And y'all, Netflix, you know what? During the polar vortex, while some people were out shopping for Subway sandwiches and getting nooses and all that stuff, I was in the crib watching Netflix and I came across Remastered, The Two Killings of Sam Cooke. And when I tell you that I was beyond enlightened, beyond, not overwhelmed, but just beaming with pride and not realizing how much and what Sam Cooke really meant. I just thought the man was a great singer. But to watch that documentary, I thought it was so important that we talk to the author as well as the director of this film, Dr. Mark Anthony Neal, PhD. Now, he actually produced the documentary and was featured in the documentary and told the story of Sam Cooke and what he meant as far as being an activist, not just an entertainer. WVON family, let him tell the story. On the WVON live line is Mark Anthony Neal. He is the James B. Duke Professor of American Studies, Professor of English at Duke University. Welcome to the WVON Morning Show. I think I got that wrong. Mark, please tell us, get it right for me, because they got all types of words on the paper. Help a brother out.
Well, first off, I'm happy to be back on WVON.
Thank you.
So I'm the James B. Duke Professor of African and African American Studies.
Got it.
At Duke University. And the director of the Two Killings of Sam Cooke is a woman by the name of Kelly Duane.
Got it.
I was just fortunate to be some of the folks who were brought on to comment on Sam Cooke's life. Like Friendly Womack, who was Bobby Womack's brother, Kevin Powell, and a bunch of other folks. I was just happy to be a part of what was an amazing project.
Well, I'm going to tell you it was beyond amazing, and thank you for getting me right. Talk to me about Remastered, The Two Killings of Sam Cooke, and what made Sam Cooke such a unique artist for his time.
Well, there's, the first thing, we'll talk about the artistic piece. He creates a style of soul singing. We think about Ray Charles in terms of the birth of soul, when he brings together kind of gospel music and rhythm and blues and creates his new sound. But Sam Cooke was the male vocal voice of that sound. He was really the first of these cats who was serious in the black church in terms of black gospel music, who leaves gospel music and goes into the mainstream. And he brings all these folks who come after him, including Aretha. What made Sam unique is that he had this incredible singing style. He had this kind of yodel fluttering thing he did that was like his signature. And 60 years later, you can still hear cats who are impacted by the way that Sam Cooke sings. You hear it in Bobby Womack. You know, you can hear it in Maxwell. You know, you can hear it from another Chicago son, Mr. Kelly.
Hey.
You don't always talk about him, but
Right.
you can clearly hear these influences. You know, Ronald Isley, in some ways, develops his own style by drawing upon Sam Cooke's style. So just on an artistic level, he was incredibly influential.
Now, and so that's what we know about Sam Cooke.
Yeah.
But what we didn't know, or at least I didn't know, was Sam Cooke was a fighter for black liberation in the realm of business. Talk to me about that, because, I mean, he did some innovative things that, as I watched the documentary, seemed to be, in my estimation, it left me to believe could have been more of the cause of his death than what we had previously heard of him being shot by a prostitute.
And this is a piece of it that, you know, not enough folks know about. You know, Sam Cooke was only 33 years old, right? So part of the tragedy of Sam Cooke is that we don't know who he was yet to become. You know, he was just scratching the surface of what would be his full genius. But, you know, he got into the industry, and because he had come through gospel, and, you know, the gospel, for all we talk about is, you know, had a certain kind of economic reality. And he was like, you know, I need to change that reality. You know, and so he goes into soul and R&B music. He's recognizing that not enough of the black artists are getting credit for songs that they're writing. They're not getting enough money and royalties for their recordings. They're going on these tours, and most of the money is going to the promoters and not the actual artists. And, you know, Sam's not the only one. You know, James Brown is thinking about this at this point in time. Jackie Wilson is thinking about this stuff. Ray Charles is thinking about all this stuff at this time. But what made Sam Cooke different is that he also recognized there was something happening politically in the country. So he peeps out the Nation of Islam and Malcolm X as early as 1959 when he's living in L.A. And he's seeing the way that they move. So he starts to pay attention to the Nation of Islam. He also starts to start paying attention to this brash young boxer, you know, from Louisville named Cassius Clay. And, you know, what we find out in the documentary and some stuff that had been known is that for about a year-long period, you know, between 63 and 64, also the period of time when Malcolm X is on suspension with the Nation of Islam, you know, Malcolm X, Sam Cooke, Muhammad Ali, and to a lesser extent Jim Brown are kind of running partners and thinking about the ways that they can pool their efforts and their talents to do some really significant things in the future.
Jasmine, you had a question.
Yeah, so I know in documentaries you only have so much time to get all the information out that you want to get out. Was there anything interesting about him that you did have a chance to put in the documentary that people don't already know about him?
Well, you know, I think one of the things we didn't get a chance to talk about, you know, Sam Cooke was always conflicted about leaving the church, you know, to go into quote-unquote secular music. There was a narrative, you know, both within black church circles, but he felt it also, that, you know, when his son dies, when his son drowns in the swimming pool, that somehow that was penance that he had to pay for giving up a life of singing for the Lord, you know, for a career of singing for the flesh.
Dang, and I heard that. You know what? I'm going to tell you that I heard that growing up. What was actually told to me was he sold his soul to the devil. I was told that he sold his soul to the devil. And that, you know how, like, once you sell your soul to the devil, then something bad happened to you. You got to sacrifice. Right? You got to sacrifice. Wow, how crazy is that? So, look, we're going to continue this conversation. We only got a few more minutes, but we got to go to traffic and weather. When we come back, we'll talk to Dr. Mark Anthony Neal. He's the James B. Duke Professor of African American Studies and Professor of English at Duke University. See, I got that? All right, it's Talk Chicago 1690. We'll be back.
More of the morning show with Dave Jackson coming up.
I believe that. I believe that, though, because I came from a church.
No, I'm talking about Sam believed in himself, not necessarily so well. I guess
You know how much more information we can pull out of this man.
I know.
We gotta stop it. I hate this shit.
What time is Phil Harper calling in?
8:50.
Oh,
shit.
All right, let's see what's going on. Hey, William Riley, what's up, Harley James? What's up, have Lori Will Martin. Yeah, Rory. Same for me. I mean, I knew his music, but I never knew that he was like this somewhat of an activist. Or even, I like when in the documentary where he gathered all of the other singers that were there to perform and asked them not to perform. Unfortunately, they didn't stick with him, but I like that. Yep, FBI was spying on him, besides him, Martin Luther King, a lot of them. Hey, Kenneth Ward, what's going on? Yeah, that was kind of one of those things when you're supposed to sing secular music, but it's crazy to believe that, to know that he also felt like God was punishing him.
Oh, he said that he felt
That's
that?
what he said. Sam Cooke felt like that God was punishing him for doing the secular music because, and by losing his son. Hey.
Quick hit.
I know. We just gotta kill our guest that we got that everybody wants to talk to. Oh, Hill Harper. Freaking light skins.
Man, you're racist to black people.
There's no such thing as you can't be racist and black.
You discriminate.
I'm prejudiced against light skinned people.
Light-skinned.
Without a doubt.
But
Without a doubt.
dark-skinned black men are the ones who are receiving all of the
shootings
bias right now. So, like,
shootings, killings.
The bias right now, like
We're receiving the bias.
Well, no, you're receiving favor right now.
From who?
Come on.
From who?
Tall, dark.
I'm short.
But you're still dark.
Yeah. Well, I'm not buying into that. It's like when you go to cut the deal, right? Yes. Yeah, I know. Oh, let me stop. I'm gonna set this up.
No such thing. Maze is prejudiced to light-skinned people. Like, especially my heel, Harper.
Nobody thinking. See, y'all still thinking about, ooh, he got yellow eyes.
No, he ain't even got yellow eyes. He's not even like, he's like brown skin, light brown. Well, I ain't gonna call a married man handsome. I ain't gonna say that.
You are tuned in to the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson, and we got Jasmine. I got Jasmine Turner sitting in with me. Professor Mark Anthony Neal. He is the James B. Duke Professor of African American Studies and English. Dr. Neal, what? Okay, because I got Hill Harper coming on, so I gotta wrap this up. So I apologize. These light skinned dudes, they always got some issues, man. Jeez, always throwing the monkey wrench in the plans. But tell us, what is the most poignant moment of the documentary to you, and why you think people need to watch it?
When you start to see the situations that lead to his death. Sam Cooke gets murdered in December of '64. Folks don't always put the timeline together, but Malcolm X is killed in February of '65, 2.5 months later. The only people who really knew about their friendship at the time, were folks in the circle and the FBI, who of course was doing surveillance on Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali. After Ali wins the heavyweight boxing match in February of '64, in Miami, he goes back to his hotel in the black section of Miami, a black-owned hotel called the Hampton Inn, or the Hampton Hotel. And the only people that are there are Ali's family, Malcolm X, Sam Cooke, and Jim Brown. The next day is when Ali announces that he's no longer Cassius Clay, but he's Ali. He had converted 3 months earlier, but this was the first time the public would know it. There was an energy about this moment that really could have propelled what we know of the 1960s even further. Malcolm X was the oldest. He's 37, 38 at the time. Sam Cooke's 31, 32. Ali and Jim Brown are still in their 20s. And the young folks are paying attention to them in ways that they're not paying attention to Sam Cooke and Malcolm X. So you really have this opportunity to reach so many folks across generations and propel the civil rights movement even further than it went at this point in time. And so what you're left with in watching the documentary is this possibility that was lost.
Man, it seems like we all, you know what? It seems like every time we think about our heroes, right? When you think about Fred Hampton, when you think about Dr. King, when you think about Martin Luther King when you think about Malcolm X, it was like we have these almost moments where we was just right there, where it could have been the catalyst. And as J. Edgar Hoover said, the most dangerous thing is the organized Negroes. And to add this to Sam Cooke and knowing what he meant, Sam Cooke and the Soul Stirrers, right? And what he meant to not just in the entertainment space, because music has a way of permeating. You know what, Dr. Neal, we're going to have you back, man, because we got to talk about this some more. These old light-skinned dudes throwing monkey wrenches in the game. But Dr. Neal, tell people if they want to find out more how they can catch up with you.
Well, they can holler at me on Twitter at New Black Man, and you can also find me on Instagram at Booker BB Brown.
Dr. Neal sounds like he's a light-skinned man.
Oh, you know what? It's all good. They got a code, man. It's a code. No, you know what? We love our brothers regardless of their hue or their tone, and we want to thank you for providing that insight and enlightenment. And I'm gonna tell you that piece that you just shared about the seminal moment, that really speaks to some of the times that we're at now. We appreciate you, and we'll talk to you again in the future. All right, now hold on. Where's the phone line? Where is this Hill Harper? I'm going to tell y'all what. Now, Hill Harper is going to be speaking over at the king of the Black People's Church. That's right. He is going to be headed over to Father Flager's for Father Flager's speaker series. You know, Father Flager has a pretty good speaker series every year.
So it's like one night, or he's
got a series of them, and they'll be coming. Shout out to my man Isidore Glover, who is over at Saint Sabina as well, who does a lot of work in the thing. Jasmine, what you got going on this weekend?
I will be volunteering tonight for my candidate for the 3rd Ward.
Who's your candidate?
Alexandria Willis, guys. She's amazing. So I'll be volunteering for her.
Because now she's on team with, Sonia, find my babies before we go, please. Okay, go ahead.
She's on team community.
Okay.
You know.
So I am, this weekend, I'm going to be doing a few Facebook Live. I didn't do poli-sci this week, but I will be poli-sciing from some people. I'm going to be talking to 34th Ward Alderman Carrie Austin tonight. We're going to address that article that you talked about in the paper about the money from Rahm, as well as this whole gangster issue, because I'm going to tell you, I think it's something to talk about. Plus, I'll also be talking to some other candidates. I think we're going to be talking to Brother Edward Steve, who's running for trustee in Dalton. I'm trying to catch up with Keith Price out in Harvey. Also be on the lookout for the What's in It for the Black People voter guide. Let me also say one more thing. Shout out to Bishop Michael Eady. I will be over at his church at the Church of the Living Harvest, where I will be delivering their Wakanda Forever closing Sunday remarks for Black History Month. And wait a minute, is this him? The last time we talked to Hill Harper, he was telling us stories about him and Barack stomping through Harvard. He's back because he's in Chicago, y'all, and he's going to be over at St. Sabina. Welcome back to the WVON Morning Show. And Jasmine, why you cheesing? This is the Maze Jackson Show, and I keep telling y'all, when all these other dudes come on, y'all pay media attention. Hill Harper, welcome back, man.
Good morning. Great to be back in Chicago.
Hi, Hill.
Look.
Hi.
Hey, Hill. Hey, bro. This is the Maze Jackson Morning Show. And I'm telling you, I was wondering why all the women they was all crowding around the microphone. They was like, who is that guy? Hill Harper, welcome back. What you doing, man? What are you doing in Chicago, bro?
It's obviously, as you just said, Black History Month, and so I'm so proud and honored to be at St. Sabina tonight for their celebration of Black History Month and doing the Black Speaker Series there. There's been so many wonderful speakers that have come through, so to add my name to that list is an honor, and I hope folks come out tonight at 7 o'clock, and we're going to have a great, great, great night.
Now, Hill, what are you going to be talking about tonight? What can the people expect?
We're going to talk about the future. I mean, I think this has been a difficult month for us. It really has, and I think that if we look around with each other, we have to figure out different ways to support each other. One of my favorite quotes is Dr. King said, "We're all tied together in a single garment of mutual destiny," and that means that no matter how well I may be doing, if a young brother or sister in South Side Chicago or the North Side of Chicago or West Side of Chicago is not doing well, then I'm not doing well, because we're all connected, and I want to talk about that connective tissue and what we can do moving forward out of this month and out of this year to better our collective situation.
Hill, okay, so collectively, real quick, I gotta ask.
Yes.
Give me 30 seconds, Jussie Smollett.
I have a connection to Jussie. Number one, I know him, and number two, I'm very dear friends with one of the main producers of the show, and from all accounts, everyone is telling me that, who are very close to him, that they believe him, and obviously it's a very difficult situation, and I really don't know. I don't have the answers. I'm perplexed as anybody else. I just think that we have to be patient and wait to see what's really going on. In any event, it's horrible and it's difficult and it's sad because, my understanding is that 17 or 18 young brothers in Chicago have been shot, and Chicago PD is spending a huge amount of resources on this issue and using a great deal of media attention on this issue, but they're not spending the appropriate amount of time dealing with young brothers who are being shot in this city. And so I think that we need to really look at our priorities vis-a-vis Jussie Smollett and this issue.
And I gotta stop you. Hey, Hill, check them out tonight, St. Sabina. Hey, for Annette Flournoy in the newsroom, for Sonia Escobar, the music conductor of the Soul Plane, for Black Sonia, the super producer, Jasmine Turner, we'll talk to you later. I am the host of the WVON Morning Show, and if you don't like it, you can still tell them. May said, we out of here. Peace. Shout it out.
Chicago and the voice of the nation is...
My baby daddy on the radio. Do y'all know how long I have been crushing on Hill Harper?
Can I tell you how long Hill Harper be loving him? He ain't even thinking of him. You should have heard about him. I'm gonna have to pull that up. Him and Barack chasing the white girls. That was so funny. Excuses? What are excuses? Excuses are tools of the incompetent, used to build monuments of nothingness. Those
who don't have the right numbers today. He said the reason why he called in late is because somebody gave him the wrong number. He says otherwise he would have called on time.
You should have got his cell.
Thank you,
I ain't even thinking about that.
That's when you use that.
I told him, look, dude, we need you in studio. This call on the phone stuff ain't gonna
Yeah, you all
we need you in
fancy.
studio.
Trying to be all, these.